A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. For a week, you've been on rolling stakeout looking for a gang of thieves. There's no sign of them. On the way back to the office, you get a 211 call. Your job? Investigate.
The documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, October 9th. It was cool in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way back to the office when a 211 robbery call came in, and it was 12:18 a.m. when we got to the corner of Oxford and Barton Avenue. The Moyles Bar and Grill.
The officer back there.
Something I can do for you?
Friday and Smith, Central Robbery.
Sorensen, Unit 6086.
Did you answer the call here?
Yeah, I'm a partner of me. He's on the other side of the place.
What do you got?
A couple of guys and a woman shot. My partner's with him now.
Uh-huh.
One of them's one of the hold-up men.
Did you get a description?
Yeah, just put it out.
All right.
Guy that owns the place is back there if you want to talk to him.
Yeah, we do. Did he witness the shooting?
Yeah. Mr. Moyle?
Yeah?
These men would like to talk to you. This is Sergeant Friday, Officer Smith.
How do you do, sir?
How are you?
How do you do?
Anything more you need me for, Sergeant?
No, that's all, thanks.
We'll check the vicinity, see if we can come up with anything for you.
Good. You guys will handle the crime report, will you?
Yeah.
Right. Frank, you want to check with the ambulance crew while I talk to Moyles here?
Yeah, sure.
You want to tell me what happened?
I just told the other officer about it. Isn't that enough?
Well, we'd like to get the story from you.
Do you mind if we go over and sit down? The whole thing's been a strain.
Surely. This all right here?
Mm-hmm.
All right, sir. You want to start?
First off, I'd like to ask you a question.
What's that?
Do I look like a weakling to you?
Well, it's kind of hard to say, sir.
Not at all. Simple arithmetic. I'm 5'10", 185, never run from a fight in my life.
Uh-huh.
Work in a bar, you handle some pretty tough ones. Loudmouths, guys that are trying to make time with some girl. You meet them all.
Mm-hmm.
Never had trouble with any of the rough times. Stood up and was counted.
Yes, sir. You could just tell us about the shooting.
That's what I'm getting to. First time in my life I wanted to dig a hole in the floor. Got to me.
Mm-hmm.
I told you I'm not a coward, but when them bullets started going around, I wanted out. O-U-T.
Yes, sir, I understand. Now, suppose you tell me what happened here.
Around 11:30, there were only a couple of people in the place. Young couple over here having coffee. And Elaine and George.
Who are they?
Two of the people who were shot. George Traber and Elaine Cronin. They're regulars.
I see.
They're sitting here having a beer. We're talking.
Uh-huh.
Almost every night, Elaine comes in after work. She's a waitress. Nice girl, real sensible.
What about Traber?
He's a security guard at some kind of plant out in the valley. Aircraft, I think. Not sure about it.
All right, you want to go ahead?
We're all three talking when these two guys come in. First, I thought it was somebody for a belt.
Mm-hmm.
I know most of the people in the neighborhood. Never saw these two before.
Yes, sir.
Come in and order a drink. I gave it to them. And they paid.
Yeah.
Dirty trick.
Well, how do you mean that?
Gave me a 5. Drinks came to about 20. Big guy picked up his change and left 80 on the bar. Figured it was a tip. Picked it up. Going to drop it in the glass.
Yeah.
No sooner turn around, the little guy pulls a gun. Points it right at me.
Yeah.
Tells me it's a stick-up. Guy with him runs over to the door to cover it.
Mm-hmm.
Little man moves down the bar and tells George and Elaine to stay where they are. They won't get hurt. Then he turns around to me and says for me to empty the register. I did what he said.
Yes, sir. Now, the other man was by the door all this time, was he?
Yeah. Just standing there. I guess he wanted to check the other side of the place. 2 kids had left. Wasn't anybody there.
Mm-hmm.
All the time I was standing there hoping that nobody had started anything.
Yeah.
Joe?
Yeah. What do you got?
Ambulance just left. Took all 3 of them in. Sorensen's with the suspect.
How they doing?
The other guy they found up front's not doing too good, hit in the stomach. Other fella shot up pretty bad, but none of the wounds looked serious. Girl was hit in the right leg. Not too bad.
Anything else?
Well, near as I can figure, the guy who was shot in the stomach is one of the hold-up men.
Checks out with what I got from the owner. You say anything?
The lieutenant said they'd call us from the hospital as soon as we could talk to him.
All right. You better get in touch with the officer down there and make sure there's somebody with him all the time.
Yeah, I got the 2 guns involved. 32 automatic, 38 police special.
All right.
Found the 32 in the suspect's hand.
Okay. You want to call the office, have somebody stay with the suspect? I better get back to the owner.
Right.
That other cop tell you anything?
No, sir, not much. Now, if you want to go ahead with your story.
I thought maybe you had some kind of clue or something to tell you who the other 2 were.
There were 3 of them?
Yeah. 2 in here. The other one was out in the car and didn't come in at all.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the person driving the car?
Not good. I told the other cops about it. Could even tell if it was a man or not.
What do you mean?
Might have been a girl with one of those new short haircuts. I just got a glance when they drove off.
I see. You want to go on about what happened in the bar?
Well, after this one guy told me it was a holdup, I gave him the money. I didn't want any trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I put the currency on the bar, and the little fella stuffed it in his pockets. I thought they'd leave after that. Might have if I hadn't started to laugh.
How's that?
I started to laugh. I guess it was the tension and all, but when I opened the register, I looked right at the frame hanging over it. $1 I took in.
Yeah.
This was my first holdup. I got to thinking about what I could hang up to show for it. Thought the only thing would be a frame full of nothing. It struck me real funny. Little fella got real sore, wanted to know what the big joke was.
Oh.
I couldn't tell him. More he asked, funnier the whole thing got. That's when he started to look around to see if there was some kind of private joke.
Mm-hmm.
George and Elaine must have thought I was nuts.
Yeah.
Elaine tried to wave to me and tell me to be quiet. That's when the guy saw the watch she was wearing.
Well, what happened?
Told her to take it off. Got real nasty about it. Guess he was sore about me laughing.
Mm-hmm.
She did like he said. As soon as I saw that, I got mad. Real mad.
Yeah.
I thought about what I could do. I don't keep a gun in the place. All I could lay my hands on was a wet bar rag.
What was that?
A wet bar rag.
Oh, I see.
So I did what the guy told me. Put my hands on the bar right out in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
The little fella started to back out of the bar, and that's when George went into action.
How do you mean that?
He's a security guard. You know, I told you that.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Well, he carries this gun. He pulled it out and reached around the lane, blasted at the hold-up man. Hit him right in the stomach. Guy kind of turned like he was going to run, then fell right on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Then the big guy, the one at the door, he aimed his gun and shot at George.
Was the girl still in front of him?
Not exactly. You see, when George shot at the one guy, he knocked Elaine down. Wasn't fast enough, though. First shot from the big one caught Elaine in the leg. Second one got George.
Well, what were you doing all this time?
I was still there with my hands on the bar. The whole thing happened so fast there wasn't anything I could do. Just stood there.
Uh-huh.
Right after that, the big guy ran out of the place. I jumped over the bar and went after him. Guess I forgot there wasn't any way I could stop him. Didn't think of that. Good thing I didn't catch him.
Yeah. You followed the man out on the street, did you?
Yeah. Saw him jump into the car and take off. That's when I saw the other person. You know, the one who was driving.
Yes, sir. Did you get a good look at the car?
Saw it drive off.
I understand, but did you see the license plate?
Yeah. But not so I could tell you the number.
Was it a California plate?
Yeah, I could see that.
All right, now about the car itself. Can you tell me what kind it was?
Nash sedan. I think it might have been a 1953. Can't be sure about that, though. Might have been a new one.
What color, do you remember?
Near as I can remember, it was kind of light tan.
All right, sir. Can you give me a description of the big man, the one who stood at the door?
Oh, I gave it to that other cop.
Well, yes, sir, but I'd like to go over it again with you, if it's all right.
Sure. As long as it'll help you get the fellas.
All right, how old was he?
Oh, I'd say 20-something. Anywhere between 24 and 27.
Mm-hmm. How about his height?
Tall and over 6 feet. Didn't come real close except when he was sitting. I couldn't pin it down for you, but I'd say over 6 feet for sure.
All right, sir. About his weight?
180.
Dark or light?
Light. Had light hair and blue eyes. Hair was wavy. You could almost say the guy was too pretty, like some kind of advertisement, you know, for hair oil or something.
Mm-hmm. What was he wearing?
Had on dark pants and coat. Wore a dark shirt and a white tie. Remember that, because you don't see that combination much nowadays. Back in the 30s, it was all the go.
Mm-hmm. You sure about the shirt and tie?
Positive. Real contrast. Dark shirt and white tie.
All right. Was he clean shaven?
Yeah.
Talked to the business office, Joe. They're sending a team over to the hospital.
That's good.
Stopped and talked to the men in 6L86. They checked the neighborhood. Didn't come up with anything.
Mm-hmm.
What about Elaine? Is she going to be all right?
Yes, sir. She's not hurt seriously.
Sure, glad of that. Felt bad about not doing anything to help her, but I'm the kind of guy when I cut my finger, I can't even put a bandage on it myself.
Mm-hmm.
Always been like that.
Yeah. What kind of gun did the man at the door have, do you remember?
Looked like a .45 automatic.
I see.
Descriptions check out.
Yeah. Type of guns are the same, too.
You know these men?
Well, we've got an idea who they are, yes, sir. We've been after them for some time now.
Sure wish I could have given you more. It was all over in a few minutes.
Well, you've helped us quite a bit already, Mr. Morrow.
At the time, it seemed longer than a Monday when there's been too much Sunday.
Yeah.
These guys done this kind of thing before?
Well, we think so. They've been hitting theaters. This is the first time they've hit a cafe.
Hope it's going to be the last. The way they put the B on George and Elaine, like to see you get them.
Well, we're going to try.
If you do, could you do me a favor?
What's that?
Well, I kind of goofed it up when they were here before. I'd like another chance at the big guy when he hadn't got his gun.
Well, I'm afraid we can't do that, Moyle. It's police business.
Why not? He's bigger than me.
Yes, sir?
Be a fair fight, wouldn't it?
For the past 6 weeks, on Tuesday and Thursday nights, 3 people had been hitting theaters in the central Hollywood area. Descriptions obtained from the victims were the same in each case. Rolling stakeouts had been set up without result. Runs by the staff's office had been checked out, and we were still no nearer to our suspects. In each case, the method of operation was the same. 2 men would enter a theater box office and rob the cashier of all currency, and then leave in a car driven by a third person. We've been unable to establish whether the person in the car was male or female. None of the victims had been able to give us a good description. However, in all of the holdups, the car the suspects used was the same. The robbery of the cafe and the shooting of the 2 witnesses gave us our first concrete lead to the identity of the suspects. The description of the smaller man matched the one we'd gotten in the theater jobs. From what the bar owner told us, it was more than possible that he was one of the bandits that we'd been looking for. We recovered the ejected shell casings and the spent bullets. They were booked as evidence. At 1:56 a.m., Frank and I left Moyle's Bar and Grill and drove over to George Street Receiving Hospital. We talked to Dr. Hall. He told us that the 2 victims were receiving treatment and would recover. From personal effects, the suspect was identified as Carl Layden. We called the business office and made arrangements for his home to be checked. Dr. Hall told us that the man was in serious condition, but that we might be able to question him. We went into the treatment room. Layden was under heavy drugs.
Layden? Layden?
Yeah?
These men want to talk to you.
Well, tell them to go away. I don't want to talk to anybody. Tell them.
Layden, we want to ask you about tonight.
You a cop?
That's right.
Tell me something.
What's that?
How bad is it?
They're doing what they can. You lost a lot of blood.
Am I going to make it?
We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who are the other 2, Layden?
I don't know.
They left you alone. You don't owe them anything. Now, who are they?
Come on, Layden. How about the one in the car? What's the name?
They walked down on me, didn't they?
That's right. Now, what are the names?
How about it, Layden?
Oh, Norberg. He's one of them.
Norberg?
Yeah, Sam Norberg.
Has he done any big time?
I don't think so.
Which one is he, Layden? The one in the bar?
The driver.
How about the blonde? What's his name? Layden?
Wait a minute, Joe. You're going to have to stop. No more questions. These 2 weeks.
All right. We'll be outside, Doctor.
I'll be right with you.
Right.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's a good lead.
Yeah. You got a name. Let's find who wears it, huh?
Better run through, I guess. Try to come up with an address.
Hope he's not the kind of guy who changes it 3-4 times a year.
Well, if he is, we can help him.
Yeah.
We'll give him a new one. 2:30 a.m. Frank and I went back to the office. We contacted the team who'd checked Carl Layden's apartment. They told us they'd found nothing to help us in apprehending the other 2 suspects. The stakeout was set up on the place. We ran the name Sam Norberg through R&I, but we failed to turn a record on anyone answering his description. Frank checked the phone book and the city directory. We came up with 2 possibles. We asked Sergeant Bud Young and Officer Serrani from the business office to help us. 2:47 a.m. We got to the first address, 713 Larchmont Boulevard. It was a small bungalow. A tan 1953 Nash was parked in the driveway. The doors were locked and the radiator was still warm. While Young and Sirianni covered the door.
The car makes it look good.
Oh, you want to get the door?
Probably asleep.
Somebody coming now.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Sam Norberg?
What do you want?
We want to talk to you. Police officers.
You guys know what time it is?
All right, move over.
Get this over fast. I got to get some sleep. I can't stay up half the night answering questions.
All right, stand still.
He's clean.
It must be really important to come around this late.
It is.
Anybody else in the house?
Oh, I got enough trouble trying to feed myself.
Well, you won't mind if we look around.
Make a difference if I did?
No, not much.
I figured that. Go ahead.
Check our back. Tell them it's okay.
Yeah.
Got the place surrounded? What do you expect to find? A purple gang?
I wonder if you're as good with the answers as you are at the question.
Look, you might think I'm a foul ball, but I don't know what you're after. I'll have to hand you this.
No.
You guys must have me mixed up with somebody else.
You're Sam Norberg, aren't you?
Yeah?
Well, we didn't knock on the wrong door.
Okay, Joe. Place checked out clean.
You talk to Young and Sirianni?
Yeah, I'll wait for it. I told him this and look this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to rush you, fellas, but you want to tell me what this all about?
That's your car out in the driveway?
Yeah, what?
You got the keys then, huh?
On the table there.
All right. You want to get dressed?
What for? I'm not going anyplace.
You keep believing that, but get your clothes on.
I got a coat in the closet.
Point it out. We'll get it.
There's only one there.
Right here. Now let's go. Here's the keys.
You see any more? I don't know what this is all about. When you find out you made a mistake, don't apologize. Just go away so I get me some sleep.
Yeah, sure. You can stand right there.
Badge makes you a big man,
You
doesn't it?
better keep your mouth closed. You're going to find you're in the wrong league here, mister.
I'll check the registration.
There's no reason to do that. I own the car.
How about it?
Got his name on it.
Well, who did you think you'd find? You come up with anything, I'll split with you.
Anything else?
Wait a minute. Take a look.
Norberg, you know a Carl Layden?
Never heard of him.
You sure about that?
I told you.
And this is your car.
Well, you know that.
Well, then maybe you can explain this.
What?
This driver's license
What about it?
belongs to Carl Layden.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
We made a thorough search of Sam Norberg's house, but we failed to turn up anything more to tie him in with the robbery. He was taken downtown to the city hall for questioning. 4:30 a.m.
Where'd you first meet Layden?
I don't even know.
Well, then you can tell us how his driver's license turned up in your car, can't you?
No, I can't tell you.
You said it was your car.
Yeah?
It was locked when we found it.
That's pretty smart figuring.
Well, I hope you're going to do something now.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know how long you think you're going to be able to keep this up. We got you nailed and you know it. Now, why don't you tell us what we want to know and we can all go home and get some sleep.
I'd sure like to help you, but I don't even know what you're talking about.
Layden says he knows you.
When'd he say that?
Tonight. Said you drove the car for him and the other guy.
Where'd you see him?
Layden?
Yeah.
Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. He's unhappy with you boys. Figures you ran out on him. Willing to fill us in on the whole deal.
With him on our side and the witnesses to the robbery tonight, you're in real trouble, Norbert.
This on the level?
Right down the line.
I heard Layden didn't make it.
You heard wrong.
You want us to put in a call so you can talk to him?
Lousy deal. Clint told me he was dead.
Clint's the blonde fella, isn't he?
Yeah, Clint Purnell. Told me all about how Layden didn't make it to the door of the place. Said he went right out.
Well, that's not right.
I'll check on it.
Okay.
That lousy Clint.
You know where he is?
No, if I did, I'd give it to you.
When'd you see him last?
Tonight, I dropped him off downtown.
Where?
Fifth and Spring. Said he had a big day.
Uh-huh.
Should have known not to trust Clint. Yeah. You got a cigarette?
Here.
Thanks.
Help yourself. How long you known Purnell?
I don't know. A couple of months.
Where'd you meet him?
A bar out on First Street. Layden and me used to go there all the time.
Uh-huh.
Layden and me have been good friends for a long time. We never been in trouble before we met Clint.
Purnell set up the deal?
Yeah. He started to talk to us about we could pick up some easy money. He laid out the whole idea. Layden and me told him we'd never been hung up in anything like it before.
Mm-hmm.
He said he knew enough for all of us. Clint's a pretty good talker. Guess it don't make a lot of difference, though. We could have said no.
Where's Purnell live?
He had a place out on Venice Boulevard.
You got an address?
No, but I can show you where it is.
How'd you do?
I don't think we got it. Take a look at these.
Hmm?
Mr. Clint Purnell you're talking about?
Yeah, that's him. He's older than that now.
Mm-hmm.
He's better looking in person than he is in that picture.
Well, he probably had an off day.
Well, his clothes make him look different, too. The dark shirt.
He always wear them, does he?
Yeah, I never saw him anything else. He asked me one day why I always wore a white shirt. Said it was square.
Mm-hmm.
Asked me how long I could wear a white shirt. I told him one day.
Yeah.
Says I'm crazy. Big deal about how he can wear a dark shirt 3 or 4 days and the dirt don't show on the collar. Thinks people don't know the difference. They can tell.
How many theater jobs did you go on?
5.
How come you switched to cafes?
Well, it's Clint's idea. Said you might have the show staked out.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we did, he planned it. We asked about something, he said not to worry about it. He had it all figured.
Yeah.
Oh, we said he was as smart as any cop. Kept telling us you made mistakes.
We do.
That's what he said.
He should have told you the rest of it.
What do you mean?
We can make him more than once. We took Sam Norberg down to the carpool and we drove him out on Venice Boulevard. He pointed out the rooming house where Clint Purnell lived. While I waited with Norberg, Frank went up to check with the manager. In a couple of minutes, he came back.
Now, looks like we missed it.
What do you mean?
Manager says Purnell was here about 2:30.
Yeah.
Packed his bags and left.
Frank and I, along with the suspect, went up and looked over the room. Apparently, Purnell had left in a hurry. We talked to the manager, but he was unable to tell us where the suspect had gone. He did tell us that Purnell had driven up to the place in a car and, after packing his belongings, had left. The manager went on to say that he knew the suspect didn't own an automobile himself and that he'd gotten the license number of the car in the event that there might be any trouble. We called the Department of Motor Vehicles, and we found that the car was registered to a Mrs. Robert Sherburne, 297 Colorado Boulevard. Frank and I went back to the main jail and booked Sam Norberg in on suspicion of robbery. After that, we drove out to talk to the Sherburne woman. The address was a riding academy in Griffith Park. We left the car down the street and walked onto the grounds.
Wonder what the pitch is. Purnell driving a car registered to a Mrs. Sherburne.
I don't know.
Guess this is the office, huh?
That's what the sign says.
I'm so beat I'm having trouble seeing the building, let alone the sign.
No.
It's kind of early. Maybe no one's up.
There's got to be somebody around. Let's try it again.
Yeah.
Yes?
Miss Sherburne?
That's right.
Police officers. This is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
What's wrong?
How do you do, ma'am? We'd like to ask you a couple of questions about
Robert,
your car.
isn't it? Something's happened to Robert.
No, ma'am.
You don't have to lie to me. I know that's it. Robert smashed up the car and he's been hurt.
No, ma'am, that's not it. You know a man named Clint Purnell?
Not about my husband?
No.
Oh, that's a relief. He left for Bakersfield this morning. I thought there'd been an accident. I was scared. Like when you're baking a cake and somebody slams the door, you have to check the oven, but you're afraid to look and you're afraid not to. You know how that is.
Yes, ma'am. Now about Clint Purnell, do you know him?
Yes, I do. He's my stepbrother. Is that why you're here?
What's that?
Clint in trouble again?
We'd like to talk to him.
I guess I should have known it. Clint never comes around unless he's in trouble.
You seen him then?
Yes, he came by last night. Said he wanted to borrow the station wagon to pick up his stuff. He said he was going back east because he couldn't make a go of it here on the coast.
Do you know where he is now?
Yes. He's back in the tack room. Said he didn't have any place to sleep, and I'd let him use the cot in there.
All right.
What kind of trouble's he in this time?
It'd be better if we talked to him.
Well, whatever it is, I'm not going to stand behind him. He promised me. He promised Robert. If he's running again, he isn't going to get any help from us.
Where's this tack room?
Back there. It's the second door.
Thank you.
I hope there isn't going to be any trouble.
Well, if there is, he'll have to start it. Want to try the door?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
What are you
All right,
doing?
Purnell, come on, get up.
What are you doing in here?
Hey.
Well, you got no right to come in here like this.
Get your hands around it.
I'll check.
All right.
Stand still. He's clean, John.
Want to check the bed?
Yeah. You guys got a lot of nerve busting in here like this. No reason for it.
Yeah, sure.
45 automatic under his pillow.
Big deal. So you found a gun. What's that prove? You carry him, too.
Yeah, but there's a big difference, mister.
Is that right?
Yeah, we get paid for it.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On January 20th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Samuel Garland Norberg, Carl Franklin Layton, and Clinton Ward Purnell were tried and convicted of robbery in the first degree, 5 counts, and assault with intent to commit murder, 1 count. They received sentence as prescribed by law. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years. Assault with intent to commit murder is punishable by imprisonment for a period of from 1 to 14 years.
You have just heard Dragnet, story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
My name's Regan. I work for Anthony J. Lyon, International Detective Bureau. They call me the Lion's Eye.
Wednesday at 9, and CBS brings you Jeff Regan, Investigator, starring Frank Graham as Regan with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. So stand by for mystery and suspense and adventure in tonight's story of The Little Man's Lament.
They called it Margate Mansion, but the name didn't fit. It was a pile of old cement and cracked stucco held up by a half a dozen tired palm trees. The people inside didn't fit either. A crusty old lady who talked backwards, a redhead with an urge to travel fast. But it was Junior who won first prize. He was half Einstein and half Hollywood playboy. Only when this boy played, it was with poison. It started on a Tuesday. I was headed down Taft Avenue on my way to the laundromat. I had a date with a washing machine and a blonde cashier named Gloria. That's when a cab pulled up beside me and the Lion hopped out. He was blowing sparks out of a fat cigar. I could tell by the 50-cent smell that we had a new client.
Oh, Jeffrey, my boy, I'm glad I caught you.
Get back in the cab, Fatso. I'm busy.
But I have to talk to you. I was just going up to your apartment.
Have a good time. I'll be out all day.
Now, Jeffrey, is that any way to talk after all I've done for you? After the many opportunities I've given you to help your fellow beings in distress?
I've worked 3 weeks without a rest. I gotta wash my socks.
Wash your socks? You can talk about a thing like that when I'm here to present you with a golden opportunity? An opportunity to demonstrate our humanitarian sentiments? A chance to lift one who's in trouble?
How much did you lift from him?
$100, and it's not a him, it's a her. Oh, it's really a simple job, Jeffrey. Very simple. I've just been over there. Lovely old house, fine old family. The Margates, flower of the old South.
Gone to see.
Well, yes. But you know how it is with descendants of old families. Fresh young growth choked back by the weeds of the old family stock. The fresh new plant smothered by decay and ruin.
Try Vigoro.
Regan, you don't seem to understand. We've been retained by Mrs. Margate. It's about her nephew, Hilary Margate. Strange youth, very strange youth indeed. If Mrs. Margate needs protection from him, I tell you, it's a very serious matter.
Well, so's my laundry.
Regan, will you listen to me?
There's another choice?
Yes. See Mrs. Margate, root out the facts.
Get her a gardener.
She doesn't need a gardener. She needs you, and don't give me any more trouble.
Okay, sweetheart. Here.
Wait a minute. What's it?
My laundry. Put the shirts and socks in a washing machine, put 2 bits in the slot. And stay away from the blonde. She doesn't like cigar smoke.
Regan, this means you will see Mrs. Margate?
Don't try to be coy. You knew I'd see her the minute you stepped out of that cab. I walked up Vine and turned right past Franklin. All the places up there are old. But Margate Mansion was old when William S. Hart was Gene Autry. A bunch of turrets made out of wood that termites wouldn't look at. But I was looking at what was standing in the front bay window, looking at me. Red hair and wide eyes and a complexion like skim milk. She was what answered the door when I twisted the old-fashioned bell.
Hello. I saw you from the window.
Yeah, I saw you seeing me.
Come in. Come in, please.
Thanks.
I hope you don't mind the disorder. I'm afraid I don't. Your name?
Regan.
Oh. Sit here, Mr. Regan. Please don't mind the dust on the sofa. No one nice ever comes, so it doesn't matter. I like you. I want you to stay.
It shows.
You're not married or anything like that, Mr. Regan.
Nothing like that.
Oh, that's nice. I'm not married either, Mr. Regan.
I heard it was Mrs. Margate.
Oh, that's my aunt. I'm not married at all. Mr. Regan, you didn't just come to see my aunt.
I've got a lot of time.
Oh, I've been foolish again, haven't I? Oh, sometimes I get so mixed up. I'm...
Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
Yes, Mr. Regan.
What's your name?
Gwethelyn.
Mrs. Margate's niece.
Yes.
Hillary's your brother?
Yes, Mr. Regan. All those questions.
Business.
Business?
International Detective Bureau. Your aunt's on the line for $100 worth.
A detective?
Well, that's polite for it.
Oh, you shouldn't have told me that. You shouldn't have told me that at all.
Suppose you tell me some things.
I'm mixed up, Mr. Regan. I can't tell.
Gwethelyn.
That's my aunt.
Did I hear the front door bell?
Don't say anything. Don't tell her.
I did hear the front door. Well, Gwethelyn, who is this man?
Regan.
Regan? Oh, you're the man they call the Lion's Eye. I've been expecting you. I'm gardening.
I should have figured.
What? Oh, I have a green thumb, as they say. Follow me. Go to your room, Gwethelyn.
Yes, Auntie.
Gwethelyn?
Yes, Auntie, I'm going.
She went all right, like a rabbit at a greyhound race. Only I wasn't sure this rabbit could stay ahead of the dogs. But right then I had another problem, keeping up with Mrs. Margate. It wasn't the way she walked. It was her talk that winded me.
Go to the garden. My niece and my nephew, problems that weigh heavily on my heart, Mr. Regan. Oh, this way. Family collapsing and falling to ruin. Just 3 Margates left. Myself and the 2 children, Gwethelyn and Hillary. Only 52 years old with such responsibilities.
Hillary?
No, myself, of course. 52. But Hillary's the real problem. You follow me?
Right behind you.
What? Oh, yes, out this door. The garden. There. You see that pool by the date palm?
Uh-huh.
Fish. Carp, Mr. Regan. He concocts things. Hillary brews things, poisons. One day he fed something he had brewed to Hilary F. Margate, Sr., the carp, and he turned bright green.
Hillary?
The carp. We found him next morning floating belly up, stark bright green. Hilary F. Margate, Sr., the carp. We name our fish after the dear departed members of our family.
Nice custom.
Yes. Hilary poisoned the carp when he was only 146 years old.
The carp?
Yes. Come along. Hilary was only a boy at the time. Such a problem, Mr. Regan. Oh, here, my vegetable garden. Have an onion, Mr. Regan. Delicious.
Yeah. Look, Mrs. Margate.
Eat the onion, Mr. Regan. George is my gardener.
I'm over here, Mrs. Margaret.
Oh, well, you can go out back and cut the weeds, George. Mr. Regan and I have some private matters to discuss.
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent, ma'am, George. Excellent. And be sure you get them all, George. We must be rid of the weeds.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am.
Now we're alone, Mr. Regan. The onion, go on, eat it. As I was saying, Hillary, that boy, such a problem.
Yeah, as you were saying.
Yes. Good, aren't they?
Mrs. Margate, what is it you want me to do?
Do? I want you to look after Hillary.
I was told you wanted protection.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
No. Hillary needs a nursemaid. That's not our line.
No, see here, Mr. Regan. International Detective Bureau has already agreed to handle my case. Mr. Lyon himself accepted my check.
He'll accept anyone's check.
But he promised to help.
Well, then talk to him.
I'm talking to you. I'm explaining.
You're explaining nothing. You've given me a lot of double talk, and I have a feeling that's all you want to give me. Now, make sense.
All right. You're going to force me to say what I hoped never to say to anyone. Not anyone. My life is in danger.
I can believe that.
My tea. Yesterday, I noticed the odor of almonds.
I'm listening.
No, I didn't drink it naturally.
Naturally.
Hillary brewed that tea, Mr. Regan. My nephew.
Now you've said something. Where is he?
Ocean Park, the shooting gallery.
Shooting gallery?
Yes, he's strange, very strange. He brews things, collects guns, practices shooting. You won't like him.
Suppose I go talk to him.
Well, you'd better. As I've said, Mr. Regan, I don't wish to be murdered.
I headed the car down La Brea to Olympic and then out to the Ocean Park Pier. It was afternoon business, popcorn and sailor style. The shooting gallery had one customer, a kid in a corduroy sport coat with a face like a cantaloupe out of season. He was taking shots at the little swinging targets. You didn't need the family album to figure him for Hillary Margate. I walked over, but he didn't take the gun from his shoulder.
Leeks.
Come again?
Leeks. Scallions.
My name's Regan.
Allium ascalonicum, Mr. Regan. Onions. You've been eating them.
So?
This suggests you're the private detective hired by my aunt. Bullseye?
You read palms, too?
I fancy myself an amateur detective, Mr. Regan. I seldom miss.
I notice.
As a matter of fact, Mr. Regan, I'm interested in hiring you myself.
Oh, that's a switch.
I think there's going to be a murder.
Anybody I know?
Yes, my aunt.
Who plays the heavy?
The heavy?
Who's going to kill her?
I am.
Practicing?
I don't need practice, Mr. Regan.
Even experts get the chair.
Possibly.
All right, Junior, let's start making sense.
Very well, Mr. Regan. My aunt is a domineering autocrat. Actually, I should hate to kill her, but I feel I must. To protect myself, you understand.
From what?
You know, I dabble in poisons, Mr. Regan. I am empoisonné, as the French say, poisoner. When I was 15...
I heard that one, yeah. Hillary F. Margate Sr., the carp.
Oh, he died a horrible death.
My regrets. Now get to the point.
Ours is an evil household, Mr. Regan. The last of the Margates, a decaying race. My aunt, for example, in Gwetland.
I met her.
Then you understand that something must be done. This is an urgent matter, Mr. Regan. It would be wise to take my case.
One Margate for a client's too many.
Very well, Mr. Regan. But you want information. Perhaps I'll give it to you tomorrow. I'll phone you. As they say on the radio, you may save a life. Possibly your own.
It made a real funny joke the way he said it. Only I wasn't laughing. And neither was he. I got in my car and started for town to tell the lion he'd been underpaid. All the way in, I kept getting a picture of a mechanical rabbit going around a track. I tried putting Grethelin's face on it, and Mrs. Margate's, then Hillary's. The others didn't fit. Grethelin's did. I was still thinking about it when I parked on Hill Street and got out to walk. And that's when I put another face on the rabbit, my own. The guy who fell in behind me and started following was no greyhound, but he had squeaky shoes that slowed down when I slowed down. We stayed together for a block, and when I turned left toward the office, he turned left. I wondered if he was an amateur. I found out when I sidestepped into an alley and pulled him in after me. All right, Buster, this is where you get off.
Hey, say, what the devil?
Come on, who hired you?
Let me go.
Give me some answers.
Talk. You want muscles, huh? Muscles? All right. I got him.
He had him all right, and he knew where to use him. He had a bald head, and he used that, too, right in the middle of my stomach. I shouldn't have bent double, but I did. It was a setup. The next blow sent me around the fender of a truck parked in the alley. I went to my knees. When I came up, it was too late. The bald head was gone. But someone else was there.
Mr. Regan.
It was Gwethelin Margate.
Mr. Regan, you should be careful. You all right?
He was following me.
No, Mr. Regan, no, he wasn't. I was going to your office. He was following me.
She was ready to talk, but the fog in my head wouldn't let me listen. I got her around the corner into a bar. She waited until the waiter brought the drinks.
2 bourbon straight, Mr. Regan. And if I may say so, this is a lovely tomato you're escorting into my humble palate.
You said so.
And may I say, Mr. Regan, I'm also partial to redheads. On account of my first love was a redhead. She played second flute in our orchestra.
Sure. Keep the change.
That was when I was with Stokowski. The Hollywood Bowl, how well I remember. Me and my fiddle. We made together beautiful music. Me and the fiddle, you understand, not the redhead. She gave me nothing but the cold shoulder on account she was hot for a guy that played bass.
Come on, you told me this story yesterday.
You don't wish to hear the story of my life, Mr. Regan? Well, it was the same way with Mr. Stokowski. The artist is lost in the world of today.
All right. Now we can talk.
I don't know, Mr. Regan.
Who was following you?
It doesn't matter. I'm used to it, Mr. Regan.
Who was the mug?
It doesn't matter, Mr. Regan. It's too late anymore. I thought...
You thought what?
I thought you'd help me, Mr. Regan. I was on my way to your office.
Why?
There's going to be trouble, Mr. Regan. Serious trouble.
What says so?
Everything. Hillary, my aunt, they're all acting so strangely. And those people who come to the house.
People? Who?
I don't know. The man who was following me is one of them. Oh, something strange is going on, Mr. Regan. Something terrible.
You still haven't told me anything.
Don't you see? It isn't anything I can tell you. It's a feeling. A terrible feeling. Everything's wrong.
I've got to have facts, lady.
I don't... Wait. There's one thing.
Yeah?
The gardener. Mr. Hendricks.
George?
Yes. My aunt knows him, Mr. Regan. Better than just a gardener. Something else.
What?
George has been in prison. I know he's been in prison. I heard him say something once on the telephone.
To who?
I don't know. There's so much I don't know.
That makes two of us.
You don't believe me. You've got to believe me. Something terrible's going to happen.
Sure. Hillary's going to kill your aunt.
Hillary? Oh, no. That's not it at all. It's me they're going to kill, don't you see? They're going to kill me.
After that, I couldn't get anything out of her that made sense. I loaded her in a cab and then walked over to Pershing Square to feed the pigeons. Maybe something would come to me. Nothing did, except the pigeons. After a while, I went over to the Examiner morgue to look up George Hendricks. There was nothing, not a word. But the Lion has ways of finding those things out, so I went back to the office. The Lion had information, all right, but not the kind I expected.
Regan, where have you been? I've been calling every saloon in the city.
You got the wrong one.
I often wonder why I hired you.
Okay, Fatso, why the steam?
I'll tell you why. Because you were supposed to be on the Margate case, that's why.
What do you think I've been doing?
I know what you're going to be doing. You're going to get out to Margate Mansion right now and fast. They just found Hillary Margate in his room. He's been shot through the head.
This is CBS, and you're listening to The Story of the Little Man's Lament. Tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Here's a special word for those of you who are interested in setting up a retirement fund. One that will permit you to have some of the good things of life before you're too old to enjoy them. Join the payroll savings plan where you work and invest in United States savings bonds. Under this plan, your firm sets aside whatever sum you name from each paycheck and uses the money to buy savings bonds for you. Buy United States bonds and keep them. And now, back to tonight's story of the Little Man's Lament and Jeff Regan, Investigator.
Nothing made sense. There were three Margates. The old lady, her nephew Hillary, and his sister, Gwethelyn. And all three of them wanted to hire me to stop a murder. Then the Lion tells me Hillary Margate has just been shot. Well, one thing was sure. With three people to work for, one of them was bound to turn up dead. I put the Lion to work looking up the gardener, George Hendricks. Then I hopped in the car and headed out to the Margate place off Franklin Avenue. By the time I got there, it was turning dark. Out front, a black and white Nash said, "Police," in big letters. But when the old lady opened the door, she acted as though she'd never heard of police.
Oh, Mr. Regan, please come in. I'm sorry you didn't get to meet him. Hillary, strange boy.
I met him.
You did? Oh, this way, Mr. Regan. Well, it's no matter. It was inevitable. Hillary's uncle, my husband, before he died, warned me something like this would happen. He was a young fool, Hillary.
How did it happen?
Happen? With a gun, of course. How else could one shoot oneself except with a gun? In here, Mr. Regan, we won't be bothered by them. Sometimes police can be so nosy. Do sit down. We shall have tea.
With or without almonds?
I know what you're thinking, Mr. Regan, but I'm sure it had nothing to do with it.
What did?
Just a moment, Mr. Regan. There's someone at our door. Well, Gwethelyn?
I was just coming to see you, Andy. I thought you'd want me to tell Mr. Regan about Hillary.
Yes, a good idea. Mr. Regan, I'll let Gwethelyn tell you. She was here at the time. Oh, she was a lovely woman. Gwethelyn's mother, my late sister. Well, go ahead, child. Go ahead.
I got home about 5.
Better sit down, child. No, not there. Here.
Yes, Auntie. Well, Mr. Regan, Hillary was in the gun room reading. I went in to talk to him, but he ordered me out of the room. He said he didn't want to be disturbed. He was concentrating.
Go on.
I left the room. A couple of minutes later, I heard a shot. When I went back, he was there. Hillary. On the floor, dead.
Then you called the police.
I told Auntie. She called them.
They've been so nice, the police. They promised not to disturb me any more than necessary. Wasn't that nice?
They're in his room now?
With Hillary. Dear Hillary.
Yeah, he won't need me anymore. I think I'd better be going.
Oh, yes, of course. Gwethelyn, see Mr. Regan to the door like a good girl.
Yes, Annie.
And come again sometime soon, Mr. Regan. We shall have tea together.
Thanks.
This way, Mr. Regan. Mr. Regan, I've got to talk to you this way quickly.
What's on your mind?
About Hillary. Something he did tonight.
Like what?
When he came home, before that, he had a book. A big book. He was reading it when it happened. Why would he read a book and then shoot himself?
You got me. What was the title?
I don't know. But when the police came, the book was gone.
Where did he buy it?
I don't know that either. I'm sure it's important, Mr. Regan. I'm sure of it. You don't think it's important?
I don't know. I reach for answers. Sometimes they come up air.
I know something else, Mr. Regan. It's about George. George Hendricks, our gardener.
Yeah?
He disappeared this afternoon after it.
Go on.
Andy sent for him when the police arrived, but he wasn't in his room. The police were angry. They think he might have done it.
And you think so, too?
I'm not sure, Mr. Regan. I'm not sure of anything now.
She turned and ran into the house and left me with a lot of night air and cool breeze. If Hendricks had taken a powder, the police would check that angle. That left me with a book. A very big book. I walked down Franklin toward my car. Up ahead, I saw a small man in a black suit locking up a shop door. Over his head, a sign said Franklin Avenue Bookshop. That did it. I caught him before he closed up.
I beg your pardon.
You know Hillary Margate lives up the street?
Yes, I know him. Why?
Was he in today?
He's a regular customer.
Was he in? Yes or no?
Yes.
Did he buy a book?
No.
You sure?
Positive. He asked for a volume we didn't have.
What volume?
I don't remember the title because we didn't have it in stock. It was a textbook.
Textbook?
Yes, on horticulture. Plants.
Plants?
Does that mean something to you?
Yeah. It could explain why the Margate family has gone to seed. It was crazy, but it was beginning to untangle. I headed for my car up the street. Before I touched the starter, I found out I had company.
All right, Regan, drive.
The gun in my back told me he meant it. One look in the mirror told me he was George Hendricks. Well, you're calling him. Where to?
Your apartment. I want to talk. Have a chair, Regan. It's your house.
Thanks.
I talk. You sit and listen.
I can stand.
I say sit down.
It's your party, Hendricks.
There's been an accident at the Margate house.
I heard.
Hillary shot himself.
That right?
You think different?
Changed my mind.
I didn't kill him, Regan.
Who said you did?
I never could get used to confinement.
Oh. San Quentin?
Sandstone, Minnesota.
Tell me more.
Listen, Regan, the police don't like guys with a record.
What was your rap, Hendricks?
Checks, something like that, forgery.
So why tell me?
You're moving in my direction, Regan. I don't like it.
Is that why you ran?
There's something else.
Yeah?
The name. It isn't Hendricks. It's Margate.
What's that?
Freehold Quincy Margate.
No wonder you changed it.
There were several reasons.
Yeah, Old South family.
Listen, Regan, you gotta believe me. I didn't kill Hillary. I didn't have anything to do with it.
You know a big guy, bald head with a stupid face?
Morley? He works at the Margate place part-time.
What's his job?
Flunky. He works in the garden with me.
When he isn't tailing the girl.
Leave me out of that part of it.
Well, do I answer that?
Yes, but watch what you say.
Regan.
Regan, I expected to hear from you sooner. What's happened to you? Regan, are you there?
Yeah, just got here.
What's the matter? Someone with you?
You're a genius.
Well, I just found out about Hendricks.
You guessed it.
You mean he's there?
Go on.
Listen, that's not his real name, Regan. He's a Margate. Freehold Quincy Margate, age 46, height 5'11", weight 180.
Get to the point.
Well, about that prison record, quite correct. It was 8 years ago. Charge?
Narcotics violation.
Well, yes, but be careful. He'll hear you.
No, he won't. He just went out the door, fast. I had what I needed. I averaged 50 down Franklin and pulled up in front of the Margate place 10 minutes later. It was dark and it looked empty, like a beer can after a picnic. I found an open window and crawled in. It was the gun room, and that meant I didn't have to go much farther. But somebody changed my mind for me when the door suddenly opened, and a hunk of orange lightning stabbed in my direction. I ducked in the chair next to me, toppled over. I couldn't wait for the next one.
Let me go!
Drop it!
You're hurting my...
That's better. Now some lights.
Mr. Regan, I thought you were one of them.
I'm not. That book Hillary was reading. I'm in a hurry, baby.
You already know, don't you, Mr. Regan? All right. I didn't see it closely. It had pictures of plants.
Like the ones in your backyard?
Yes. I didn't know what it meant
Until Hillary got it, and then you were too scared to talk. Why?
Mr. Regan, Hillary didn't poison my aunt's tea. They only said he did so they could kill me and then blame him for it. That way they'd be rid of both of us.
Yeah, but Hillary caught on too quick.
That's why they killed him, Mr. Regan. Oh, don't let them know I know.
It won't matter now, baby. I circled around the house in a hurry. Empty. Then I tried the garden. That's when I saw it. 50 yards behind the house. A strange light at first, then something red that began to grow. Then smoke and more smoke. I ran to the back of the garden in the flames. She saw me coming.
Stand back, Mr. Regan.
Maybe tomorrow, Mrs. Margate.
I warn you, Regan. Stand back.
You hired me, remember?
Take one more step, Mr. Regan, and Morley will kill you.
You figured he'd be around? Put that gun down, Morty. The smoke's getting in your eyes.
No! Shoot him, Morley! Shoot him!
You're too late for that. I drove across the column of smoke and caught his arm as he tried to find me with that gun. I got to him first. I owed him something for what he'd given me in that alley, and I paid him back with interest. The old lady just stood there and glared at me, the fire reflecting in her eyes. It took me 10 minutes and my best sport coat to stop the blaze. But the price was cheap, because where the fire had been was a nice pile of Exhibit A. It looks just like an ordinary plant, but the police call it marijuana. Somebody spotted the smoke and called the fire department. The police were right behind them and loaded the last of the Margates into the wagon. And it was like Greth said. She was scheduled to turn up poison, and I was supposed to testify that Hillary had done it. Only Hillary caught on too fast, and they gave him a bullet for his trouble. And after I finished up at headquarters, I went to the office and filled the lion in. He was disappointed.
And this fella the police picked up at the depot, this Hendricks, he wasn't the culprit we were looking for?
He was under the old lady's thumb like the rest of the family. She blackmailed him into growing this stuff. With his record, he couldn't afford to squawk.
He couldn't afford to squawk. How do you think I feel?
You got a check for $100, didn't you?
Well, yes, I did.
She did pay you, didn't she?
Well, you see, Jeffrey, that is, she gave me a check when I first went out there for $100.
You said that.
Well, I didn't think anything of it at the time, but, well, you see, her brother-in-law...
You mean...
Well, that is, Hendricks did have a prison record for narcotics violation, but, well, it seems upon examining the records more closely, there was an earlier sentence for,
Bad checks.
Yes. It seems to run in the family.
I don't get paid this week.
Go on. Quit me. Kick a man when he's down.
Oh, stop it.
You know I never withhold payment when I have it. Right now I don't have it. Maybe next week.
If you wait 2 weeks, it'll be Thanksgiving.
What's that mean?
You can have the end of the turkey I've been getting.
Jeffrey, you're not being kind. Remember my heart.
I'll try.
Oh, thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you. Now, here's 25 cents.
For what?
Go over and pick up your laundry. I forgot to wait for it.
Jeff Regan, Investigator, is written by William Frug and William Fifield, directed by Sterling Tracy, and stars Frank Graham as Regan with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. Original music is by Dick Arant. Jeff Regan, Investigator, is heard each week at the same time over CBS. Bob Stevenson speaking, and inviting you to be with us again next Wednesday at 9 for more suspense and mystery and adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. You get a call from a man who tells you his wife has failed to keep an appointment. There's no trace of her. There's evidence of foul play. Your job? Find her.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Friday, August 7th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from missing persons, and it was 1:27 a.m. when I got back to room 42, homicide squad room.
Hi, Joe. You talked to Graham?
Yeah, he just got in.
How'd they do?
Well, they came up with a kid.
Where'd they find him?
The boyfriends. They were watching TV. The missing youngster had told his friend his mother knew he was there.
Uh-huh. Everything's all right then, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. Graham said the kid's going to have to eat standing up for a few days.
You know, it's a funny thing about parents.
What do you mean?
A thing like this happens and all they care about is getting their kids back.
Mm-hmm.
After a while, they begin to think about it and get sore. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, you figured you got a couple of kids.
Yeah, I guess it'd be the same way.
I got it. Homicide Friday. Yes, sir, that's right. Well, where were you supposed to meet her? Well, have you checked there? Let's see. All right, you want to give me that address? Yes, sir. No, we'll be right out. Right. Goodbye, sir. I already got one we better check here.
Yeah?
Bartender out of Normandy. Says his wife was supposed to meet him a half hour ago and she hasn't shown up.
He called his house?
Yeah, she's not there either. Says she's never been late before.
Yeah, it's always the first time.
Well, he doesn't think so.
Huh?
He thinks she's been kidnapped. Frank and I left the office and drove over to the bar. It was located on the corner of Normandy Avenue and Monroe Street. In the event the story we'd gotten on the phone was true and the woman had been kidnapped, we parked the car down the street and I walked back to the place. A couple of minutes later, Frank followed. We met the man who'd placed the call, George Cabot. We asked him to tell us what was wrong.
Sure didn't waste any time getting here.
You want to tell us what's happened?
Yeah, my wife's gone.
How do you mean?
Ethel's disappeared.
Well, when'd you see her last?
This morning when I left the house.
Have you talked to her since then?
Yeah, 12:55 tonight. She called here to tell me she was on the way down.
Mm-hmm. Did she seem all right then?
as far as I could tell.
Possible that she might have stopped at one of the neighbors.
Well, I thought about that, too, but I checked. None of them have seen her.
You called your home, Andy.
Yeah, I didn't get any answer. I tell you, something's happened to Ethel. I'm about to blow my cork not knowing what it is.
Well, maybe she's still at the house and didn't hear the phone ring.
Yeah, I figured that, too. Maybe that's her. Hello. Ethel, what? No, this is Cabot's Bar and Grill. Yes, ma'am. Who? No, I didn't see him tonight. No, I'm sure. Yeah, I'd know him. No, lady, I'm not lying for him. He isn't here. Yeah, if I see him, I will. Yeah, good night. Wasn't her.
Yeah.
Woman's in the same fix I'm in, only she can't find her husband.
Cabot?
Yes, sir.
I hope you won't be offended by this, but does your wife drink?
You mean you think she stopped at some bar and got gassed up and just didn't show up? Is that what you mean?
No, that's not exactly what I meant. I just asked if your wife drank.
Well, you got it all wrong. Ethel has a martini once in a while before dinner, but if she wanted to drink any more than that, she could come down here and I'd pour for her.
All right. It's a question we have to ask. You understand that?
Just as long as you don't think that Ethel's a lush, because she is.
You said you checked your house, huh?
Yeah, when she didn't show up, I waited a while, and then I got worried and called Mrs. Lawrence. She's the lady next door.
Mm-hmm.
Asked her if she'd seen Ethel.
Yeah.
She said my wife had been over there all evening. They were playing that baseball game, line drive, you know, with the cards.
I don't think I know it.
It's a new game. Anyway, they played that for a while, and then they watched the television, and at 12:30, Ethel said she had to come down and meet me. Mrs. Lawrence said she left the house then and drove away.
Mm-hmm.
This neighbor's kind of bubbleheaded, you know. She's not real bright about things, so I thought that maybe Ethel had gotten sick and couldn't answer the phone when I called.
Yeah.
I called a cab and went home. The car was gone, so was Ethel. I checked the whole house and the yard. Not a sign of her. Looked in the front closet, too. Her coat was gone. I'm sure she'd left the house.
Mm-hmm.
I had the cab driver come back to the bar the same way that Ethel always drives it. I thought maybe there was an accident or something. If there was, I'd be able to see it. You know, people or cops.
Yeah, I understand.
Wasn't anything.
Does she always come down here at night?
Regular as clockwork. Never misses. Excuse me.
Yeah, sure.
Hello. Yeah. No, I remember. No, ma'am, I haven't seen it. Look, lady, I got my own troubles. I'm not trying to cover up for your husband. Well, it doesn't make any difference to me or not what you think. He isn't here. Okay, that's fine with me. He never ran up more than a 30-cent tab anyway. And even then, he ate all the peanuts on the bar, and you tell him I said so. Yeah, good night. Real crackpot.
You were saying that your wife made it a practice to come down here. Is that right?
That's right. You see, our boy was killed in the Pacific 5 years ago, our only kid. We both took it pretty hard. It got on Ethel's nerves sitting around the house by herself, so she'd drive down to pick me up. Get here a little early and help me with the cleanup.
Yes, sir.
Called at 12:55 to say she was leaving, walk in the door at 1:05. Didn't vary more than a minute either way.
Mm-hmm.
Depend on the light at the corner of Denmore and Santa Monica. If she makes it green, it's 1:04 when she walks in. Otherwise, she's a minute late.
I see. Does she always call before she leaves the house?
I can walk over to the phone at 5:01 and pick it up. Know she's going to be on the other end.
Has your wife been in good mental spirits lately, do you know?
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, has there been anything on her mind? Anything that worried her more than usual?
No, she didn't say anything. If there was, I'd have been able to tell.
Is there any special reason why you think she's been kidnapped?
Just that she's gone. It isn't like Ethel to do something like this. I know it's not her idea.
Never done anything like this before, then?
No.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a picture of her we could have?
Sure, I got one in my wallet. It's probably that woman again. Hello, look, I haven't seen you. What? Now, look, don't you try that with me. No, I don't. If you hurt her, I'll make you sorry the rest of your life. Hello? Hello?
Cabot? Cabot?
What?
What's the matter?
Nothing. I guess I made a mistake about the whole thing.
How do you mean that?
I guess nothing's happened, Ethel. Just forget I called you about it.
Is that the way you want it?
Yeah, I'm sorry to cause you all the trouble. I'd like to buy you a drink if I can.
No, thanks.
Sorry about the whole thing.
You want to tell us what they said?
Who?
Party on the phone, man.
I don't want to talk about anything.
You're not going to help your wife that way. Now, what did they ask for?
Look, I told you guys it was all a mistake. Now, why not let it go at that?
How about the picture you were going to give us?
There's no reason for it. The whole thing's a goof up.
The way you talked on the phone didn't make it sound that way.
All right, she's gone. Those are the people who have her.
They asked for money?
No. They said for me to sit tight and not to tell anybody or they'd kill Ethel. I'm going to do like they say.
You're taking a big responsibility on yourself, Cabot.
Maybe so, but she's my wife.
This is a big city. It's going to be a little tough for us to find the kidnappers without your help.
Not so bad.
How do you mean that?
I got an idea who they are. It isn't going to be too hard to find out.
You go out on a limb and you may give your wife more trouble than help.
Ethel's my wife.
You're not going to let us help you then, huh?
No, and I don't want to go over it anymore. I got the only stake in this anyway.
Well, you're wrong about that.
What?
What about your wife? Because of his attitude, it was useless to question George Cabot any further. We left the bar and got in touch with the office. We made arrangements for a complete 24-hour surveillance to be kept on him. In most cases of this type, the kidnappers usually demand that the victim's friends or relatives stay away from law enforcement agencies. They do this to stall for time. Statistics prove that in the vast majority of cases, the victim's fate was decided long before the kidnapping occurred. It never is the intent of any officer to endanger the life of a kidnapped victim, but at the same time, it is necessary for them to have all available information so that they can move rapidly when the case does break. In an effort to gain more information on the missing woman, Frank and I went over to see the victim's next-door neighbor. She identified herself as Carol Lawrence and asked us into the house.
I'm not sure this is quite proper, you know.
What's that, Miss Lawrence?
A couple of men in my house at this hour, especially with me in my bathrobe.
Oh, I'm sure the neighbors will understand.
Oh, I hope so. A couple of real gabby ones from the street, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Big mouths.
Yes, ma'am.
Guess you being policeman, it's all right, you think?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then. What do you want to know?
When did you see Miss Cabot last?
You mean Ethel?
That's right.
I saw her tonight. Why?
What time did you leave?
Well, I guess it was about 12:30.
Say where she was going?
Didn't have to.
What do you mean?
Ethel only goes one place that time of night.
Yeah.
Down to pick up George.
We understand she usually calls him before she leaves.
That's right. I left here at 12:30, went next door to get a coat. A couple of minutes later, I heard her drive off.
What can you tell us about her?
Nice woman. Real nice.
Yes, ma'am.
We're great chums, you know. Belong to the same club and see a lot of each other.
Mm-hmm.
You see, my husband's gone, and Ethel's man works every night, so she's alone a lot of the time, too.
I understand.
Ever since their boy was killed, she's been kind of empty.
How was that?
Their boy was killed.
Yes,
she's
ma'am.
been kind of empty ever since.
I see.
Then, too, George don't help much.
Well, what do you mean, Miss Lawrence?
Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
Well, it's all right, ma'am.
Oh, I sure don't want to get nobody in trouble.
Well, you won't?
You won't nose it around that I told you anything.
No, ma'am.
How about you?
No, ma'am.
One thing I can't go is a person who carries tails. Just can't go 'em. Don't want anybody to say that about me.
Well, yes, ma'am. What is it you're going to say?
I guess it'll be all right. You're so honest looking.
Thank you.
He is, too.
Yes, ma'am.
What would you like to tell us, Miss Lawrence?
Well, you know, poor Ethel isn't very happy.
Is that so?
Oh, my. Yeah, I feel so sorry for her sometimes.
What about?
Well, it's that husband of hers.
Mr. Cabot?
Yeah, oh, he's a good provider and all, but I always say there's more to life than just that.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice home, good car, paid bills and all, but George isn't the fella he makes out, you know.
That so?
Why do you think Ethel goes down to that bar to pick him up every night?
Well, we don't know. Why don't you tell us?
You're a man. You should be able to figure it out. She doesn't trust him. That's why.
Uh-huh.
All those girls hanging around the bar. Ethel notices things like that. George has got pretty big eyes, too. It doesn't take a lot of imagination to add it all up.
Well, has Mrs. Cabot ever talked to you about all this?
A couple of times. She'd come over, crying because of something George had said or done. She'd tell me.
Mm-hmm.
No, sir. No matter what it looked like, they weren't very happy.
Did they have a quarrel that you know of?
A lot of times. George used to yell at her, scream about her leaving him alone. Could hear it over here. Summertime, you know. The windows are open. Sound carries right over. Couldn't really not hear it. And mind, I didn't try.
Yes, we understand. Any of these quarrels ever get violent, do you know?
You mean, did George ever hit her?
That's right.
Oh, you bet he did. Gave her a black eye once. Took a couple of weeks for it to go away. Poor Ethel. She tried to hide it with makeup. She could still tell.
I see. When she left, did she say that she was going down to pick up her husband?
Yeah. Told me she had to go get George. Made her a little mad tonight.
Why is that?
Missed the last part of the movie on TV.
I see.
Ethel had to leave before we found out who the swindler was.
Uh-huh. Can you tell us what kind of a car the Cabot's drive?
Pontiac.
Coupe or sedan?
Sedan, light blue.
What year?
This one. Brand new.
Mm-hmm. Do you happen to know the license number?
No. Couldn't give that to you. Didn't pay a lot of attention.
Do you know if they do business with one service station?
No, I can't tell you that.
Can you give us a description of Mrs. Cabot?
Sure. I'll give you a picture if you want one.
We appreciate it.
It's no trouble at all.
Right.
I got a scrapbook here. Shots of Ethel.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, here's that pencil sharpener I was looking for. Here now. I know it's here.
Is that it there, the book?
No. That's my high school annual. Now, wait just a minute. Well, it is here. I know it is here. Oh, here it is. I took all these myself.
Yes, ma'am. They're very nice.
Oh, that's my husband. I took that at Coronado Island one spring. Yeah. Oh, here's one you can take. This one here in the chef's hat, that's Ethel. We were having a barbecue, and she was the cook. It's a little fuzzy, but it gives you an idea what she looks like, you see. Well, her hair's cut short now. I had it cut last month, kind of bob-like. Well, you can take it.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
You know, I just thought of it. You haven't told me what this is all about. Something happened to Ethel and George?
Well, we're not sure yet. We're just checking out a complaint.
Oh, well, as long as you're all right.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I think that about covers it. Sure like to thank you for your cooperation.
No, I'm happy to help.
Good night, Miss Morris.
Good night, Mr. Smith.
There's one more thing. Will you be home tomorrow if we have to get in touch with you?
All day. If I don't answer right away, let the phone ring for a while. I got some work to do in the garden.
All right, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Well, I hope I helped you out. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. What do you think?
I don't know. The way she tells it, something's out of line, isn't it?
Well, Cabot seemed to be pretty upset when he got that phone call.
There's only one big trouble with that.
What do you mean?
Maybe that's what he wanted us to think. 2:45 a.m. Frank and I got back to the office. We ran the names George and Ethel Cabot through R&I, but we found no record on them. We sent a teletype to DMV up in Sacramento asking for all available information on a car registered to George Cabot or his wife or both. Frank went over to the business office to see if the men in the units that were keeping Cabot under surveillance had reported in. There were no messages. We made a 15.7 report directing it to Captain Lorman, telling him of what had happened and what action we'd taken. At 3:52 a.m., we were ready to leave the office.
You all set?
Yeah. Well, let's go.
All right.
I get it.
Make it fast, huh?
Homicide, Friday. Where? Yeah. Okay, we'll be right over.
What do you got?
Ethel Cabot.
Yeah?
I just found her.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Frank and I left the office and immediately drove over to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. When we got there, we talked to Dr. Sebastian, and he gave us the whole story. The woman had been found lying by the roadside. She was picked up by a motorist. He'd taken her directly to the hospital. Sebastian went on to tell us that from her appearance, Ethel Cabot had been severely beaten and then rolled or dragged in hot tar. Her clothes were covered with it. Her hair was matted. The doctor said that the woman's head had been shaved and that most of the tar had been removed. A tentative identification had been made through a letter found on her person when she'd been brought in. An attempt was made to call her husband, but there was no answer at either the bar or at their home. Frank and I waited until the woman had been treated. Then we went in to talk to her. She was in a state of severe shock, and she was incoherent.
Don't hit me anymore. Please don't hit me anymore.
It's out of her head.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. Don't hit me.
Miss Cabot. Miss Cabot.
Please let me go. Please.
You're all right now. There's nothing to be afraid of here.
You're lying.
You're in a hospital, Miss Cabot. You're all right.
Don't let him get me anymore. Don't let him touch me.
Nobody's going to hurt you, Miss Cabot.
Where's George?
We're trying to reach him, ma'am.
I don't want to see him. Whatever. All his fault.
George caused this?
They told me.
Well, who said that?
Both of them. They said they were doing it for George.
There were two people?
Yes. They kept hitting me. They poured the tar over me. There wasn't anything I could do. Nothing.
Did you know these men?
They kept hitting me. George, tell him to stop. Not anymore, please. Not anymore.
Miss Cabot, do you know who the two men were?
No, I don't know him. They didn't have any reason to do it. Except for George. That's what they told me. I didn't know they were going to hit me like that.
Did you hear a name?
No, I don't know him.
Did either one of them call a name of any kind?
Please make him stop. Don't let him pour any more tar on me.
Miss Cabot.
Burns. I can't stand any more.
Miss Cabot, can you tell us what the men look like?
George, tell him to stop. Tell him.
Miss Cabot.
No, we're not going to get much more out of her, Joe.
No. Better get a policewoman up here to stand by.
Yeah.
George, make him stop.
Joe?
Yeah, Dave.
While you were talking, the cabin woman call came in before you get in touch with the business office.
Okay, Dave, right away.
They probably got a line on Cabot, huh?
Hello, this Friday. When? Okay, we're leaving right now. Right, bye. Well, that really tears it.
What's that?
They just lost the tail on Cabot. Frank and I went back to the office. We got in touch with the unit who'd been assigned to keep Cabot under surveillance. They told us that the man had gone downtown and had entered an all-night movie. In the darkness, he managed to get away. A team of men was sent out to his house, but he hadn't returned. A stakeout was set up on it. A check of his bar failed to yield any additional information as to his whereabouts. A local broadcast was sent out to all units asking that they be on the lookout for the man. If he was found, he was to be taken into custody, and we were to be notified immediately. 6:45 a.m. Frank and I checked out of the office, and we went home to shave and change our clothes. At 8:15 a.m., we got back to homicide. There was somebody waiting to see us.
You want to see us?
You Friday and Smith?
That's right.
I'm Arnold Leffer. I got something to tell you.
All right.
You heard from Cabot?
No.
Oh, I figured maybe he'd call you.
You know him?
Yeah, I work for him. Help out in his place.
You heard from him?
Yeah, this morning. He called me at home.
Did he say where he was?
No, but I think he'd been drinking. He sounded like it.
Yeah.
It was either that or he was mad, one or the other.
Is that right?
Yeah, last time I heard him talk like he did this morning was when he had that beef in the bar about a week ago.
What was that all about?
Oh, a couple of guys thought they were pretty rough, tried to prove it to George.
Yeah.
Well, he cleaned up the place with them.
What caused that beef?
Well, they started to get loud with a couple of girls in the place. George told them to quiet down. They didn't do it, so he told them to get out.
Yeah.
They didn't want to go, and they tried to put the muscle on George, but they tried it with the wrong guy. George really showed them.
That's all?
Oh, yeah. Bounced them both right out in the street. Guys were pretty sore about it.
When did this happen?
About a week ago. I don't remember the exact date.
Mm-hmm.
They were pretty sore. Told George they'd find some way to get even with him.
I get it. Homicide Friday. He's not here right now. Can I take a message? Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. No, he's not working today. Yes, ma'am. Well, if you give me your number, I'll have him call when he gets in. All right. That's 98. Yes, ma'am. No, it's right in the message book. No, he'll see it. That's right. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. No, he'll look at the book when he comes in. No, the first thing. You bet. Well, you're more than welcome. Yes, ma'am. Bye. You know these two men?
Yeah, I've seen them a couple of times around the bar.
You know their names?
Well, one of them's called Jack something or other. I don't know the last part.
How about the other one?
I can't do you any good there.
You know where we can find them?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I come in here. I want to tell you what George said to me.
Yeah.
Well, he said he found out who kidnapped Ethel, told me he was going to get him. He mentioned this Jack, figured it was the same guy.
Where can we find him?
Well, there's a rooming house over on 7th. I can show you.
Well, let's go.
Look, there's something else, though.
What's that?
Well, I was at the bar when George called, and after I talked to him, I checked around.
Yeah.
His gun's gone.
Frank and I left the office and drove over to 7th Street. The bar boy pointed out the rooming house where he said we could find Jack and his friend. We checked with the manager and found that two men answering the description we'd gotten shared a room on the 3rd floor. We left Arnold Leffer in the car and we went up to the room.
Should be the last one.
Yeah.
I wonder if Cabot's gotten here yet.
He has. Come on. Stick it in. All right. Cabot, let him go. Let him go.
Get him away.
All right, come on.
Please don't stop me. It's crazy. This guy's crazy.
Come on, Cabot. Take it easy now.
Come on. Come on over here. Get over there.
Where'd you keep him away from me?
Go on, move.
No.
What do you think you're going to prove doing a thing like this, Cabot?
A couple of minutes more, I wouldn't have cared.
We found your wife. She's going to be all right.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't help yourself much doing a thing like this.
He's crazy.
You shut up.
All right, now, come on. Calm down, both of you, and stand still. How about this one?
Name's Rico Martin. Him and Jack took my wife.
They admit it?
Yeah, they said they did it to get even with me for the fight.
Well, we didn't hurt her. We just scared her a little bit, that's all.
They're right.
Well, what difference does it make? We're going to beat it anyway.
You are, huh?
Sure. All we've got to do is come up with the right plea.
And you got it all figured, haven't you?
Sure, there's a lot of ways we can go.
Yeah, we got one in mind.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 14th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Jack Prescott Bischoff and Rico Blake Martin were tried and convicted of kidnapping, one count. They both received sentence as prescribed by law. Kidnapping with bodily injury is punishable by life imprisonment without possibility of parole or by death in the lethal gas chamber.
Just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the material and quotations included in the following program have been taken directly from news dispatches off the wires of Associated Press, United Press, and International News Service. This news material is presented for your information without editorial comment.
From San Francisco, the American Broadcasting Company presents 1 out of 7. "24 hours make a day, 7 days make 1 week. And from these past 7 days, the editors here in our San Francisco newsroom have chosen the one story which they have judged most worthy of retelling. This is 1 out of 7.
again to the land of free men. And all up and down the nation, in the quiet suburbs, in the town and village, beneath blankets of young spring stars, free men sing their songs onto the night air, sharp with the smells of wet, green grass, heavy with omens of nourishing rains soon to come. Yes, it is a wonderful thing to live in a land where men are equal, where men are brothers. It is truly a most wonderful thing. And all the more precious does it become when we realize that only a few years ago, in ravaged cities far beyond our eastern coast, this was the order of events.
Lieutenant. Clear away the bodies from the wall. Come along. Fast there. We haven't all night. Line up another dozen of the Jewish animals against the wall. Fast, fast. That is it. Juden, swine. Soon they will all be gone. We must make it clear that we are the masters. Achtung. Ready. Aim. Fire. That is good. Clear them away. Step along there. Bring up another dozen. Move. We haven't all night to know. Small American town. A young Negro, too active politically to suit his white neighbors, is dragged from his home to a field on the outskirts of the town. There he is fastened to cross-like posts. His clothes are ripped from his body. A man with a huge whip advances toward him.
All right, nigger. Maybe this will teach you to keep some of your equality ideas to yourself this time. You know, a few swats across your hide with this should convince you that we're the bosses down here. All right, boys, come on, men. Give me room. Stand back. All right, Negro. Here you are. And this. And once more. You ought to learn now. I'll teach you. Yeah.
Were you there when they crucified my Lord?
Spring has come back again to the land of free men. And all up and down the nation, in the quiet suburbs, in the town and the village, free men sing their songs onto the quiet night air, crammed with promise for better things and better times to come.
It's not far, just close by, through an open door. Work undone, care laid by, going to
It is a wonderful thing to live in a land where a man does not fear because of his creed, where a man may cast his vote for what he believes in. Yes, it is truly a most wonderful thing. But last week, in the city of Birmingham, Alabama, a Negro college graduate mounts the steps of Jefferson County Courthouse, makes his way down a long marble corridor, and enters the office of the Registrar of Voters. There, as provided by Alabama state law, the young Negro takes the voter's registration test. He explains intelligently and comprehensively the Constitution of the United States, translates on sight a very difficult passage of French, undergoes more tedious cross-examination. Finally, he is asked,
"All right, boy. Hey, read what it says here in this Greek newspaper."
The young student studies the paper for a moment, and then he replies, Why, it says here that Negroes can't vote in the state of Alabama.
That's absolutely correct, boy. You sure have caught on. Now listen. If you'll just step out that door you came in and slam it behind you.
In the neighboring state of Mississippi, in the small town of Tupelo, Reverend James Parsons filed his candidacy for the United States House of Representatives to oppose incumbent Congressman John Rankin. Immediately thereafter, the insurance on the church in which Reverend Parsons has served for 25 years is canceled. Reverend Parsons' daughter is a school teacher, so her teacher certificate is immediately taken away. Reverend Parsons' son is away at Howard University for Negroes in Washington, and he is warned by telegram,
"Your old man has fixed you good. Now don't try to come back to Tupelo if you know what's good for you. You got that?"
Finally, one Sunday evening, after evening services at his church, Reverend Parsons is standing at the door to the vestibule when a group of men approach him.
Good evening, gentlemen. What may I do for you?
I'll tell you what you can do for us. You can get out of town. Get out of town and get out fast. And don't try to come back, or we'll lynch you sure.
Spring has come back to the earth again, to the land of free men. And all up and down the nation, free men sing their songs onto the quiet night air, heavy with omens of nourishing rains to come.
Born dead, let my people go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Hello, Pharaoh, to let my people go.
The script for 1 out of 7 is written by James Edward Moser. Gil Dowd was the producer. Music is by Otto Clare at the Hammond. All characters are portrayed by Jack Webb. Featured tonight was Joseph James, baritone. Tonight's presentation was based on reports taken from authoritative files and from dispatches off the wires of Associated Press, United Press, and International News Service. Listen again next week, same time, same station for
1 out of 7.
John Galbraith speaking. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned the missing persons detail. You get a call that a man has failed to return to his home. There's reason to suspect foul play. Your job, investigate.
It was Friday, January 2nd. It was overcast in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of Homicide Division, missing persons detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from communications, and it was 8:12 a.m. when I got to room 24. Squad room.
Well, it's hard to believe, isn't it? January 2nd. Another year gone by.
Yeah.
You see this evening's sports page?
No, I didn't. Why?
Still talking about that Rose Bowl game.
Oh, is that so?
You know, Joe, looks to me like that last play of the game is going to end up like the Dempsey-Tunney thing.
The what?
The Dempsey-Tunney fight.
Oh, no, I don't think it will.
Oh, yeah. Big controversy over that last play.
Well, since when? All the sports writers agree.
Well, that's where you're wrong, Joe.
How do you figure that? I read them all. Examiner, Times, Herald, News, The Mirror. They all agree the officials called it right.
Uh-huh. All the sports writers, huh?
Every one of them.
Apparently you haven't seen this.
I've never seen that paper before in my life.
No, that's where you're wrong, Joe. All the writers don't agree on that last play, see? Finchley Crockett, right there, you can see for yourself.
Who?
Finchley Crockett.
Who's he?
Only the sports editor, that's all.
The editor of what? What paper is this?
Jesse County Realist. Picked it up tonight on my way in.
Yeah, well, the game's over, so let's just forget about it. What do you say?
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm. Just overlook the only right call on the game, huh? Just pass it right by. Joe, Finchley Crockett's never been wrong. Called the World Series, the All-Star game, picked the heavyweight champ before the fight. He's accurate, Joe.
Well, good for him. But it's over, and the score still stands. Next year's another game, okay?
Listen to this. I'm going to read this column to you. The Bird Says by Finchley Crockett.
What's the name of the column?
The Bird. Bird Crockett.
Who?
When? Oh, I forgot to tell you. When Crockett played for the Trojans, his nickname was the Bird.
I don't remember anybody by that name playing for USC.
No, Joe. JCU. Jesse County Trojans.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Now listen to what he says. It is a rare treat when the editor of a small-town paper gets to see one of the nation's bowl games. But your editor was so treated this week at the county seat. As you all know, the new television transmitter is now operating, and it is a rare treat. As you know, there's nothing like being at the game, but it is a rare treat when the editor of a small-town paper gets to see one of the nation's bowl games. He's a real great guy, Joe.
Yeah.
And in closing, yours truly would like to go on record and say that the last play of the game was a complete mystery to me.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. That's it, Joe. He made his point.
That's all there is to the entire column?
Well, that's it. It proves that all the sports writers didn't agree on the last play of the game.
I get it. Missing persons Friday. Yes, ma'am. That's right. All right, we'll be right out. No, ma'am. Right away. Bye.
What do you got?
Missing husband.
Yeah.
Wife says he and another man went out this afternoon. He's over 3 hours late getting home.
Kind of early to start worrying, huh?
No, not the way she puts it.
What do you mean?
Well, the fellow with him.
Yeah.
Her husband was going to have him put in jail. 8:32 p.m. Frank and I left the office and drove out to the address. It was located on Agatha Street. The lettering on the window read Helmer's Mannequin Rental and Sales. The store was dark except for a single light at the rear of the place. We knocked, and a small woman in her 50s answered the door. We identified ourselves, and she asked us in.
You want to come back to the office?
Thank you.
Watch your steps there. It's kind of dark.
Thank you. These dummies sure look like real people.
Yes, we specialize in lifelike models.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working on the books, trying to keep my mind off of what's happened.
Uh-huh.
You want to sit down?
That's all right, Miss Helmer. You go ahead. You want to tell us what this is all about now?
Jason's gone.
That's your husband's name, Jason Helmer?
That's right.
How old is he?
He's 53. He had a birthday last October.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think something's happened to him?
Because it's not like him to do a thing like this without telling me.
You told me on the phone that you'd heard from him. Is that right?
Well, not from him. Fred Madison called me.
And when was that?
I guess it was about 5:45. It might have been 6, no later.
Well, what did this fellow Madison say to you?
Told me that Jason was coming right home.
Were they together when he called, do you know?
Fred said they were.
Did you talk to your husband?
No. At the time, I didn't think it'd be necessary.
You know where they called from?
Well, Fred said some bar.
Did he mention a name?
No, and I didn't ask. I guess I was afraid to.
What do you mean?
Well, Jason used to drink quite a bit. We had a lot of trouble over it. Seemed like everything was falling apart, and then he straightened up and quit. He hasn't had a drink of liquor in 10 years. When Fred called, I thought that maybe he'd gotten Jason started again.
Did he say your husband had been drinking?
No, he just told me that Jason was leaving the bar and would be right home.
Was he driving?
Well, I don't know.
Ma'am?
My husband hurt his shoulder a couple of days ago. He wrenched it. I don't think he's able to drive very well. Well, he might try to make it with one hand. Our car has that automatic drive thing, you know. You don't have to shift gears.
Yes, ma'am.
But I don't think he'd have driven.
Did he leave in your car?
Yes. Fred told him he'd drive.
Where'd they go?
Well, like I told you on the phone, to the races.
Your husband usually go there?
No. The only reason he went today was to collect some money.
From who?
Fred.
He's the man your husband was going to put in jail, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Why?
Well, he's owed us some money for quite a while. About 4 months ago, Jason asked him for it. Fred wrote a check. And it wasn't any good.
Well, you want to go ahead?
Well, Jason tried to get in touch with Fred and wanted to give him the chance to make good on the check. He was never able to catch him at home. Talked to him on the phone, but Fred was never there when my husband went over to see him.
Yeah.
Jason told him to have the money this morning or the bad check would be turned over to the police.
Wow.
Fred showed up here this morning. We thought he'd come to pay the money, but he told us he didn't have it. And Jason said there wasn't any reason to spend more time on it, said they might as well go to the police. That's when Fred told us that he could get the money out at the racetrack. He wanted Jason to drive him out there.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. At first, Jason didn't want to, you know, with his sore shoulder.
Yes, ma'am.
He told Fred to take a bus. Fred said he didn't have any money and begged my husband to drive him. Told him how he'd pay the money he owed and have enough to get home.
Yeah.
Well, they left here about 11.
Did this Fred Madison say who he was going to get the money from?
No, just that it was some friend.
Can you give us a description of your husband's car?
Yes. I've got the license number, too, if you want it.
How about a description of both men?
Well, I can give you that.
All right, Miss Allen.
Sergeant,
Yes, ma'am.
you've been through this kind of thing before. You ought to know.
What's that?
About Jason. Do you think he's all right?
Well, I wouldn't know, Miss Helmer. We'll try to find out.
We've been so close the last 10 years, ever since he stopped drinking. I guess that's what I'm afraid of more than anything else. Him starting up again.
Yes, ma'am, I can understand.
Do you think he might have started up again?
Well, I wouldn't know that either, but I'd say things might be in your favor.
Well, how's that?
Well, 10 years is a long time.
Yeah?
Good habits are hard to break, too. Before we left the store, we got a complete description of Jason Helmer and Fred Madison. We also got Madison's address and the license number of the car they were driving. Mrs. Helmer gave us a recent photograph of her husband, and we checked with R&I on both men. We found a record on each one of them. Helmer had been booked 12 times for drunk. The last one was over 10 years ago. Madison had been picked up for drunk, suspicion of burglary, and writing checks without sufficient funds. We checked the jails and the hospitals, and we found that neither man had been booked in the last 5 hours. We went back to the office and got a local and an APB on both men and the car. 9:46 p.m. We drove out to talk to Fred Madison. There was no one at home, but we got the information that his wife was employed at a restaurant on Clay Street. We went over to see her.
Can I help you?
Yeah. I'd like to see Mrs. Madison, please.
Who are you?
Police officers. This is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday. Here's our identification.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm Lorna Madison. What do you want?
A few questions we'd like to ask.
You mind going in the back to talk? I don't want everybody in the place to know my business.
All right.
Booth back here. Been hard enough to keep the job. Go ahead. Sit down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get you some coffee?
No, thank you.
Oh, ma'am.
I don't have to ask you what this is all about. I can guess.
Beg pardon?
Something about Fred?
Yes, ma'am.
What'd you do?
Well, we're not sure that he's done anything yet, Miss Madison.
And why are you here?
We're trying to find him.
He is in trouble.
We just want to talk to him.
Could you tell us where he might be?
You should be home. Are you tied there?
Yes, we have.
Well, I don't know then. He left this morning and said he'd be home early.
Have you heard from him?
No.
Did he say where he was going when he left?
The racetrack.
Was he going with anybody, would you know?
He didn't say.
What kind of work does your husband do, Miss Madison?
He's a collector.
What's that?
He collects corks and bottles.
Ma'am?
I'm trying to tell you he doesn't work. He just drinks.
Mm-hmm. And how could he afford to go to the races?
He can't. The only money he's got's what he can borrow from other people to steal from my purse.
Mm-hmm. Did he say why he was going to the races?
No, I don't care what he does anymore. I tried to help him, but he doesn't make any effort to change. Just goes on drinking and feeling sorry for himself.
Any idea of where he'd go if he was drinking?
Any place where he can mooch a drink. He's even tried it here.
Can you give us the name of any of the places?
Yeah, I can tell you, but will you tell me what he's done?
Well, it's just like we said, Miss Madison. We're not sure that he's done anything yet.
What's the truth?
Yes, ma'am. We'd just like to talk to him.
All right. I think I can help you find him. I got a phone call earlier this evening.
From your husband?
No, from a friend of ours in the valley, David Neeson. Fred had called him.
Mm-hmm.
Fred wanted to use his place tonight. Davis said he could. I asked him if Fred had been drinking. He said he couldn't tell, but I know he has. Follows a pattern.
How's that, Miss Madison?
He's done it before. Go out to David's place, drink himself into a stupor. David always calls me, so I won't worry.
Mm-hmm.
Could I ask something of your officers?
All right.
If you find him there, will you do what you can for him?
What do you think it's going to do any good?
What do you mean, Mr. Friday?
I don't think he'd take our help, would he?
Why?
He didn't want yours. Miss Madison gave us the address of the place where her husband was supposed to be. We also got the address and phone number of David Neeson. We put in a call to him, but he hadn't heard from Madison. Frank and I left the restaurant and drove out to the San Fernando Valley. On the way out, it started to rain. 3113 Nordhoff Street was a small redwood house. We parked the car and walked up onto the porch. Frank tried the door. Better try it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's there?
Madison, open the door.
Oh, I didn't know anything.
Come on, Madison, open up.
Doesn't sound like he's doing too good.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Let's talk inside.
Well, sure. Wouldn't keep anybody out at night like this. Come on in.
Police officers.
Yeah. Well, let's go over by the fire, huh? It's cold out here in the middle of the room.
You Fred Madison?
Well, that's what you called me when you pounded on the door.
That's right.
You friends of Dave's?
We've talked to him.
He's a nice fellow, old Dave. This is his house, you know.
Yeah, we know.
Nice place. Roof's tight. Good bar. He's a great friend, old Dave.
Mm-hmm. Come on, get up.
Yeah. How you fellas like to drink? You know, something to keep the chill out?
No, we don't want one. We think you've had enough, too.
Well, how about you, mister?
No.
Okay. But don't say I didn't try
Put the glass down, Madison. You're going to have enough trouble answering our questions as it is.
Well, that's just where you're wrong.
Is that right?
Yeah. One thing everybody says about old Fred, he can handle his booze. You've never seen old Fred swinging.
Put that glass down.
Okay. I'd like to cooperate. Mind if I sit down?
Here, I'll help you. Sit right here.
All right. Old Dave ought to get some cushions for these benches.
Oh. Yeah, you want to start talking now?
Whenever you're ready.
What'd you do today?
All day?
That's right.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Where'd you go?
Took a little ride out to the track.
The races?
Yeah, took a little ride.
Did you go by yourself?
Mm-hmm.
I said, did you go to the races by yourself?
Well, as a matter of fact, I didn't.
Who'd you go with?
Friend of mine.
What's his name?
Well, you don't know him.
Give us his name.
Jason Homer.
Tell us what happened.
Well, nothing. We drove out there and saw the horses.
Did you make any bets?
No.
Then why'd you go?
I like horses.
You know that's not the reason. Now, come on.
Okay, I went out to collect some money.
From who?
Why are you asking all these questions?
Did you get the money?
Yeah.
What'd you do with it?
I don't think that's any of your business.
You do anything wrong with it?
No.
Well, then you don't mind telling us, do you?
Pay the bill.
To who?
Jason.
How much you owe him?
$100. Listen, I don't like all these questions. The way you guys came in here, I don't like it at all. I don't think I'm going to answer anything more for you.
I think you are. Now, where'd you go after you left the track? Come on, Madison.
Told you, drove out to the valley.
Almer go with you?
Yes, he did.
Who drove?
Me. Jason has a sore shoulder.
All right.
We stopped at a bar, had a couple of drinks. Homer was feeling pretty good that he got paid.
How about Halmer? Did he have anything to drink?
Who?
Halmer.
Yeah, a couple.
What was the name of the bar?
What?
The bar. What's the name of it?
Well, I don't know.
You stopped at a place and you don't know the name of it?
That's the way it is. It doesn't matter what name's on the outside anyway, just what's on the bottles. That's what's important.
All right. What happened then?
Jason said he had to go home. He wanted me to call his wife and tell her he was on the way.
Did you?
Yeah.
What time was that?
Oh, I guess about 5:30, someplace in there.
Yeah.
Well, we sat around and had a couple more, and then he left.
You stayed on after Halmer left, huh?
Yeah.
Who paid for the drinks?
Well, who do you think? Me.
How much money did you collect out of the track?
$100. Collected it and then paid Jason.
All right, let's see your wallet.
Why?
Come on, get it up. How much money have you got?
I don't know, not much.
Well, take a guess, will you?
$20, $30.
All right, open your wallet and count it.
Well, it might be better if you did.
I said you count it.
Okay, but don't get mad at me if I do it wrong.
We'll try not to.
All right. Let's see, there's 10, 20, 25, 26, 27. $27. That and the change I still got in my pocket. You want me to count that, too?
Never mind.
I'll be glad to do it for you.
Let me see your wallet.
Well, certainly. Here you are.
You keep the money. Now give me the wallet.
That wallet's a present from my wife.
Oh.
Real nice. That cord of in leather.
Yeah.
Not a stitch in it, all folded.
Okay, here. Put it back in your pocket.
Yeah, thank you.
Where'd you get the money, Madison?
From in my wallet.
Before that.
I had it.
Since when?
This morning.
I won't hold.
Why?
We got it that you were broke this morning.
Oh, I got it now. Now I have got it.
You have, huh?
You think I'm a thief, isn't that it?
We'll let you tell us.
No deal.
Huh?
I didn't steal it.
All right, then where'd you get it?
From my bank.
When'd you get it?
Tonight.
Well, you're going to have to do a little better than that, Madison.
Well, I don't know why. Be perfectly happy to prove it to you.
When you're ready, huh?
All right, I'll show you. Take you right out there. You think all the banks close at the same time, don't you?
Go ahead.
Well, you're wrong. Mine's always open. Of course, it don't pay any interest, but it's there and it's always open.
All right, let's go.
Sure. Take you right out there. It's out in Canoga Park.
You got a coat?
No, sir. Hey, how about a little drink before we go, huh? Kind of warm.
Put that down. I told you once. You've had enough of that.
Ain't that much. Hate to figure what'd happen if I ever ran out. Hate to think about it. It'd be terrible to have to go without it.
Well, I'll tell you something.
What's that?
That bank of yours isn't there. You're going to get the chance. Because of Fred Madison's condition, it was difficult to know how much of the truth he was telling us. We went back to the car and started to drive toward Canoga Park. On the way, we stopped and put in a call to Mrs. Helmer. Her husband still hadn't returned. Madison directed us to drive to a ranch-type house on Kelvin Avenue. By the time we got there, it stopped raining. We parked the car and walked up to the house. There were no lights on and no answer when we rang the bell.
All right, Madison, you through playing games now?
The bank's out in the backyard.
What?
Backyard. There's a barbecue out there. The bank's the tin can near there.
All right, show us.
Sure. I used to live in this house.
That's all.
Yeah, always figured that someday I was going to need some money. One time I just went out and buried some. Figured there'd be a time when I was going to need it.
Yeah.
It's a tin can near the barbecue.
What time were you here today?
Well, I don't know. I don't have a watch.
Haven't got any idea, huh?
Sorry. That catch is kind of tricky. You got to pull it towards you. I always meant to fix that when we lived here.
All right, now where's the barbecue?
Well, one of you got a flashlight? Now, let me have it.
You tell us where you want it pointed.
Gee, you don't trust anybody.
Where's the barbecue?
It's over in the corner of the yard right near the fence.
Where, over here?
Now, swing the light over to the left.
All right.
There's nothing there.
Maybe I made a mistake. It's been a while since I've been here. It must be in the other corner of the yard.
Over here, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Take a good look. You're not doing so good tonight, are you, Madison?
I don't understand it. I saw it today.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the owner of the house.
Yeah, we'll check with him.
I sure don't understand it. Right in the corner of the yard near the fence.
Something you fellas are looking for?
Police officer, sir. We tried the door. There wasn't anybody home.
Can you tell me what this is all about?
You live here, do you?
That's right. What are you looking for?
You know anything about a barbecue pit in the backyard here?
Yeah, what?
You want to tell us where it is?
I tore it down 3 months ago.
We returned Fred Madison to the office for further interrogation. Frank and I attempted to talk to him without result. He said he couldn't remember where he'd gotten the money. He couldn't tell us where Jason Helmer was. We put in a call to the missing man's home, but he still hadn't returned. We rechecked the hospitals and the jails without result. 1:14 a.m. We were ready to give it up for the night. Frank went over to the office, and I got Madison ready to leave.
You going to take me to jail now?
You called it. Come on.
Joe.
Hold it up, Madison. What do you got?
A call just came in about Helmer's car.
Hmm.
They just found it.
While men from the business office took Madison over to the main jail for booking, Frank and I drove out to the valley again. Helmer's car had been found about a mile off Topanga Canyon Boulevard on Farview Road. It was back off the road and partially hidden by the trees. When we got there, a radio car was standing by. We talked to the officer.
Take a look at the back. Stuff on the ground there. I covered it with the boxes in case it started to rain again.
That's good.
These stains here on the ground, I don't know if they're going to mean anything.
You got anything we can use to open this trunk?
I'll check our car.
All right.
What do you think?
I don't know. Better get in touch with the crime lab, have them come out and go over the place.
Yeah.
Here. I got something. Right.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Can you get it?
Put that light over here, will you?
Yeah. How's that?
That's better.
You need some help?
No. I got it here. Once more ought to do it now. Yeah, there we are. Let's get it open now. Thought maybe we'd be wrong.
Yeah.
It's Helmer. We put in a call to the crime lab, and they came out and made an investigation of the scene. From what we could tell, Helmer had been killed by some sort of blunt instrument. His empty wallet was in the trunk beside the body. 6:48 a.m. We had Fred Madison brought from his cell.
I feel lousy. My head feels like it don't belong to me.
Why don't you tell us the truth?
You haven't told me what this is about. There's no reason why I should answer your questions if I don't know what you're trying to get at.
We told you. We want the truth.
All these questions over and over, the same things.
You can make it easy on yourself.
Well, how?
Come up with the right answers.
But I've told you.
Yeah, like the bar you went to called the I Don't Know, huh?
I'd tell you the name if I knew. I've been drinking pretty good.
I'll get it.
Right.
Yeah. Here, Joe.
Madison?
Yeah?
This is about your bank.
What do you mean?
This explains where you got the money.
What?
When you took the currency from Helmer's wallet, you left 3 perfect prints on one of the celluloid envelopes.
You mean something has happened to Helmer?
You tell us.
Come on, you can drop the bluff. These prints are enough to indict you. You want to tell us?
He was going to send me to jail. I didn't get the money at the track. I tried to get him to give me some more time.
Yeah.
He was so righteous about it, said I had enough time. He was going to go to the police.
Mm-hmm.
I pleaded with him, but he wouldn't listen. It happened real quick. Maybe if I hadn't been drinking, it might not have been this way. I don't know.
Yeah.
When I started to think about the big trouble I was in, I figured it was all that kind of money.
Is that right?
There really was a guy at the track, you know. He was going to lend me the money to pay home.
Mm-hmm.
If he'd loaned me the money, it would have solved everything.
What was another way?
What do you mean?
That money you owed Helmer?
Yeah.
You could have worked for it.
Frederick Carson Madison was tried and convicted of murder in the first degree and received sentence as prescribed by law. On recommendation of the jury, he was sentenced to life imprisonment in the state penitentiary, San Quentin, California.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the American Broadcasting Company brings to its entire network one of radio's most unusual programs. Pat Novak, for hire. Sure. I'm Pat Novak, for hire. That's what the sign out in front of my shop says. Pat Novak, for hire. Down here on the San Francisco waterfront, it's got to be that way. You got to rob a few graves if you want cigarette money. You need lots of work and roomy sleeves if you're going to play a pat hand. Sometimes, in a good week, you can duck trouble 3 or 4 days in a row. And then it creeps up on you like an old charge account. Well, I should have known that when I went to the bank. I was up to my knees in mud and didn't even know it was rainy season. It was Tuesday. I went by the bank to drop $100. It was about time, because they were beginning to play handball with my checks. Must have been about 11 o'clock when I got to the window.
Hello, Mr. Novak. Isn't it a grand morning?
If it's your choice, stay with it.
Ah, yes.
Deposit $100.
Yes. Let me get your card. It's right here, I think. Yes. Here we are.
All right. $100. Give me a duplicate, will you?
Certainly. My, this isn't as big as the last deposit.
Look, Bloomer girl, just mark the slip, huh?
Oh. I'm sorry, Mr. Novak. I guess I'm not used to $1,000 deposits.
Mm. What $1,000?
Your Friday deposit.
I wasn't in here Friday.
Oh, you must have been. The card says you put in $1,000 on Friday.
Give me that card. What did Santa look like?
What?
Who put the dough in? What'd the guy look like?
Oh. Didn't you?
No. Look, we'll double back and try to hang on this time, will you? I wasn't in here Friday. I don't know anything about an extra grand. Now, what did the guy look like?
I wasn't on duty Friday.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure about the fellow today.
What fellow?
There was a man in here to ask about the account.
Did this good fairy have a name?
No, just credentials. He was from the FBI.
I see.
Is there anything wrong, Mr. Novak?
No, don't mind that complexion. I forgot my foundation cream. Oh, I should have known right then. A mysterious grand tossed into the till. I didn't wake up to trouble. But I'm a smart boy who'd be the village idiot in a town the size of New York. Well, I left the bank and went up to my apartment. That $1,000 was already drawing interest. When I came in, she was sitting on the couch drinking my whiskey. She could have all she wanted. A 1949 Panther model. Just the right amount of size 12 in a dress that looked like a well-tailored fig leaf. When she was through looking you over, you felt like the Sunday supplement.
Hello, Mr. Novak. I like your apartment.
That's good.
The view is wonderful.
So's yours. What's on your mind?
How about a drink?
All right. I'll pour, you talk.
My name is Connie Riley. Make me one, too?
Sure. As you were saying?
My name is Connie Riley.
Yeah, well, I've memorized that much. Go on. Oh, here's your drink.
Thanks. Let's sit down.
All right.
Over next to me. I won't bite.
That's too bad. Go on.
Well, here's to your new bank account, Patsy.
Look, sis, if you're here just for the field trials, all right, but if you got a bill of goods, trot it out.
I will. I want that card, too, Patsy. I want it ahead of Chris.
I'll catch up with another drink. In the meantime, you fill in and help me, will you?
Stop sitting on your hands, Angel. You didn't get that $1,000 for the sweat of your brow.
No, not yet.
Somebody padded your account so you'd be a nice boy. I want you to be a nice boy for me.
At the same rates?
The Monterey Rose docks today. A passenger named Kurt Toomey is carrying a jack of clubs, and it means a lot to me.
Well, it doesn't mean a thing to me, except the FBI is on my tail.
Mr. Novak, you're turning a momentary advantage into a crowbar.
You take your deal to some other broker.
You're in business whether you like it or not, Patsy. You're going to stub your toe either way, only... To me, it'll be more fun.
How about the FBI?
You're being frightened by a group of bureaucrats.
Yeah, that's what Trotsky thought.
How much, Patsy?
Hmm?
How much for that card when you get it?
The price is $1,000.
You're an amusing guy, Patsy.
Yeah, the grand I can afford to be.
You don't even know what the Jack of Clubs is all about. You never heard of Kirk Toomey till 5 minutes ago, but you take things in stride as if the whole world belonged to you.
Yeah?
You're like Adam when he first spotted the Garden of Eden.
All right, Little Eve, it's $1,000. Remember, you're sitting on my doorstep. Now either go on home or come in the house.
Good. I'll take the card. That's your price. Now I can relax.
I'll bet you can.
Pour me another drink, Patsy?
Yeah, sure, in a minute.
What comes next? Can I get 3 guesses?
If you got time to take them.
I won't need them all.
It's up to you. Come here, Angel. You ever hear of the early bird?
Yeah. Do I make a nice worm?
You wriggle like one.
Aren't you raising the price a little, Mr. Novak?
Straight 18%, darling.
That's too bad. I wasn't even going to scream.
The next place I live is going to be a cave. Just a minute, will you?
Hello, Novak.
Oh, Hellman.
Well. Am I interrupting anything?
No, we were just going over an old seed catalog. Miss Riley, this is Inspector Hellman, San Francisco Police.
Good morning, Inspector. Don't bother to arrest me now. I'm just leaving.
So soon?
My sentiments exactly, Inspector. Bye-bye, Patsy. You can get me at the Concord on Push Street. See you around, Patsy.
Sure.
Well, you're slipping, Novak. No rain check.
All right, funny man. What's your problem?
You ever see this guy before?
Let me see. He's an awful-looking thug.
Yeah.
Who is he, your father?
A guy by the name of Max Coleman. The FBI trailed him to your bank Friday. They think he gave you $1,000.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the $1,000, Novak?
What do you care, Hellman? Maybe a relative, maybe a maiden aunt.
Nobody's related to you, Novak. You're a jam lover, and I'm here to push your father in. Max Coleman buys his groceries with foreign dough.
Well, what are you weeping about? Arrest the guy if you don't like him.
There's government microfilm coming in on the Monterey Rose. That $1,000 makes you a contact man for Coleman.
Send the FBI over then. Where do you fit in? Waiting for somebody to drop some loose change?
You're my project, Novak. When they asked us for help, I stuffed the ballot box to get you.
Yeah.
So relax. I'm going to spend the rest of the day here. You're not going to leave the living room.
If I got to spend the day with you, I'll take knockout drops.
Suit yourself. What's this stuff?
That's good scotch. You wouldn't know.
Oh.
The cheap liquor's out in the kitchen closet. That's for you.
All right. Over by the stove here?
That's right.
What do you keep in here, Novak?
Mops and brooms.
Where'd you buy this one?
What are you talking about?
Where'd you buy this one, smart man?
Hellman was right. I could tell right away it wasn't a mop. When Hellman pushed him out, he rolled out onto the linoleum. A dapper little guy, except for a piece of cord around his throat, tied in a funny knot. It was deader than a broken drum. Somebody had pulled too hard on that piece of cord. The veins were standing out in his forehead, and his face looked like a road map lying there on the floor. He wasn't pretty. Hellman thought so, too.
Who is he, Novak? Your father?
I've never seen him in my closet before.
Who is he, Novak?
I don't know, Hellman. Finders keepers. You roll him.
Give me a hand. There's nothing there. Where's his wallet?
You'll get there by instinct.
Yeah, here it is. His name is Kirk Toomey.
Well, that helps.
Who is he?
The guy on the Monterey Rose?
The one with the microfilm?
I guess so.
I thought you didn't know anything about it. How'd you know he came from the Monterey Rose?
My dream book, Hellman. What happens now?
Nothing. Except I'm on the case now, and you got trouble in a major key.
You don't think I killed this guy?
I don't know, did you?
You better hop out and tail that girl. She was making herself at home when I got here.
Yeah? How do I know you're not in it together?
You don't copper. Maybe she's Loeb and I'm Leopold. When you're through with her, you might hit the Monterey and start looking for a jack of clubs.
Some more dream book, Novak?
Everybody's looking for a jack of clubs, Hellman. It must be the end of the rainbow. That's where you're going to find that microfilm.
In the meantime, you stay handy, Novak. I want to split you with the FBI.
You don't think I'm going to take the rap for Junior here, do you?
It says that in my book. Just relax until I'm ready to pick you up. I only have to find a couple of things.
Well, that'll be a long time, Hellman. You can't find your hip pocket with radar.
Yeah. I'll be around soon, Novak. Don't bother to pack your bags. You'll be traveling light.
left, I knew I was a second division club. That phony plan in the bank, the tie-up with Max Coleman, and that stiff in the kitchen made me look real bad. I had to do something in a hurry because the way things stood, I had about as much chance as a lawn party in a monsoon. There were a lot of bases to tag, so I looked up Jocko Madigan, an ex-doctor who invented the hangover. What a good guy. I finally found him over in North Beach at a little joint called Lupo's. He was eating pizza with one hand and strangling a bottle of wine with the other.
Hello, Patsy. Oh, Frank. A bottle of wine for Mr. Novak.
No, I'm short on time, Jocko.
That's where you're wrong, Patsy. People always say it, but it's a lie.
Will you calm down a minute?
You say you're short on time, but you have all the time there is. It's the one thing that keeps you from being a beggar.
Yeah.
There are only 24 hours in a day, and that gives you as much time as Napoleon or Alexander had.
Will you shut up a minute and put on that wine?
I'm celebrating, Patsy. I'm celebrating Mission Day.
Mission Day's over.
But I'm a native son. We celebrate longer.
Now, look, I'm behind the 8 ball again.
Isn't it getting kind of crowded back there? What's the matter?
Somebody strangled the guy and put him in my broom closet.
When did you find him?
I didn't. Hellman did. There's a girl named Connie Riley. Looks good for the job.
Why doesn't Hellman book her then?
He's still picking up the pieces. The dead guy is Kurt Toomey. He was set to smuggle in some microfilm. It says here I'm contact. You gotta help me, Jocko.
You've got me confused with the travel agency.
I want you to hop down to headquarters. Get all the dope you can on this guy Toomey. I'm going to look up Connie Riley.
How did she get in the picture?
What difference does it make? She's a wrestler I met this morning. Now, get on to headquarters, will you?
That's why I like you, Patsy. You're like a piece of blank verse. A bad piece of blank verse.
All right, Jocko. I'm going to make like a strip of bacon if I don't get going. Now, stay close to headquarters. If anything looks good, contact me at Connie Riley's here at this address.
All right. How many times shall I knock, lover?
I left Jocko and dropped by the apartment. I was smart and full of courage, like a field mouse at bay. The police had already been there. There was fingerprint powder all over, and the 2 bottles of whiskey were going. They'd moved Laughing Boy out of the kitchen, so I sat down trying to add things up. I had a short list of friends to see. Connie, Max Coleman, and whoever this guy Chris was. I had to show up with one of them or prove that Kurt Toomey hung himself in my closet. I was getting ready to borrow a piece of cord myself when the phone rang. Yeah.
Hello, Novak. This is Hellman.
I'm thrilled. What's on your mind?
I just called on your girlfriend.
What'd she say?
Nothing. She wasn't there. Hasn't been there since 10 o'clock this morning.
That's funny.
Yeah? You know where she is?
How would I know?
I just thought she might be in your closet. I picked up Toomey stuff on the Monterey Rose.
Yeah, what'd you find?
The usual stuff. A few clothes, some shaving equipment, razor blades, toothpaste, and a pack of playing cards.
Pack of cards. Well, you know where to go from there, Hellman.
I thought I did.
Grab that jack of clubs.
Will a 10 of hearts do?
Huh?
That's right, Novak. A nice fat deck. The jack of clubs is missing.
Oh, you're always too little, too late, Hellman.
I just thought I'd let you know, friend, in case you start a bridge game with 53 cards in the deck. Good night.
Oh, I was losing money fast, like a street carnival in Death Valley. Well, one of 2 things happened. Somebody got on that boat and took the jack of clubs while Toomey was at my apartment. Or maybe he brought it with him. If he brought it with him, Connie was a possibility. Or somebody that got there ahead of Connie. Well, anyway, I had to work fast now because whoever had that card wasn't going to put it on a Market Street float. About 10 minutes later, I cut across Union Square and up Bush Street. When I got to Connie's apartment, it was about 10 o'clock. I got in the back door and started through. She wasn't there, so I went to work looking for that jack of clubs. It was real easy. I tried the desk and then her bureau drawer. You know, that black chiffon's coming back in style because that's where I found the card. It looked nice nestling there. I put it in my pocket, and that's as far as I got.
You run the lingerie counter here, Novak?
You sound like a guy named Chris.
If it makes you feel better.
Shall we put on the light?
No. Let's don't put on the light. This gun might upset you.
The police are looking for you, Chris. You need more than the dark.
I understand they're looking for you, Novak. That Riley girl kind of put you on the spot. Tell you what I'll do, though.
Yeah, you'll give me $1,000 for the jack of clubs.
I started to say 500.
Around here, that's a whisper. And even grand, mister.
You're trying to collect too many places. Want the 500?
No, I don't.
All right. But I think you're a bum businessman.
Jocko found me catnapping on Connie's bare rug. Must have been right after the sapping. When I woke up, Jocko was thumbing my head like a housewife with a bowl of margarine. I felt around and waited for him to put the floor in again. I reached in my pocket. The jack of clubs was gone. Then I started to talk. Jocko.
Did you expect someone better?
Help me up, will you?
I've helped you get up so much I feel like one of the Wright brothers.
I just lost round 3.
Yeah, I saw him getting into the car.
Did you get a number?
Like Hellman's got yours. Here it is.
Let me see. Anything break down at homicide?
They got all the dope on Toomey. They had to piece it together. He had no fingerprint record, and they finally confirmed things with a set of false teeth.
What does it prove?
Nothing much, except you probably killed him. He was a foreign agent who picked up microfilm at Shanghai. Your girlfriend is pretty.
Did they find her?
Yeah.
Dead?
No, Patsy, you've got to stop thinking of people as being dead all the time. It's demoralizing.
What'd she say?
She denied knowing anything about Toomey.
Jocko, I'm sure she killed that guy up in my apartment. I'd stake my life on it.
Expertly put, Patsy. I think Hellman believes her. After all, she's the only lead.
What about Max Coleman, the guy that rigged my bank account? Are they letting him die on the vine?
I was getting to that. Your friend Max Coleman has disappeared.
I thought he was being tailed.
The kite got away. Here, use my aspirin.
Well, I took a boat out to the Monterey Rose, but that was a waste of time. Hellman had it covered like a tarpaulin. I still had the license number to Chris's car, but that didn't do any good. Even if I found him, all I could do was point my finger. There were still a lot of things that didn't fall into place. One of them was, how come that jack of clubs was so easy to find in Connie's apartment? She hadn't hid it very well. But, after all, maybe that was a habit with her. Things didn't look any better the next morning. I went into a restaurant next to the press club for some breakfast. The Chronicle was lying on the counter. We were in second place because there was a torso murder all over page 1. That second cup of coffee saved me because right after that, I spotted it on one of the back pages, a picture and a small story about some unidentified guy who'd been killed over in Oakland. I couldn't match the picture too well with Hellman's snapshot of Max Coleman, but it looked like my best break so far. I got over to Oakland, and I went straight to the morgue. The guy in the morgue was chatty.
Which fellow you want to see?
The unidentified guy, he must have come in last night.
Sure. Down this way.
Okay.
How do you like our morgue?
One of my favorites.
It's bigger in San Francisco.
Yeah, I figured that.
Sure. Most people don't know that, but it's true. Bigger in San Francisco. Here we are. Right here. Help me slide it out.
Sure.
Roller bearings. Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Here, let me get that sheet.
All right. Well.
Recognize him?
Yeah. What time did he die?
Coroner's report here on the toe tag. About 11 o'clock last night. 2 gunshots. 38 caliber pistol.
That's good.
Don't look good to me. Was he a friend of yours? Relative or something?
Yeah, a relative. He's my maiden aunt. It was Max Coleman, all right, but that was only half the problem. I had some of the answers, but not enough. It's like trying to weave a rug with a spinning wheel and a bucket of sand. Well, anyway, I got to a payphone and I called Jocko. I told him to run down that license number, and then I headed back across the bridge. When I found Jocko, he said the car was registered in the name of Christopher Downs, who lived up on Taylor Street. Well, that was enough of a lead, so I telephoned Hellman. Took about a half a minute to draw a map.
Hello? Hellman talking.
This is Novak. You still got Connie Riley down there?
No. I saved matchboxes. Why?
When did she leave?
Last night about 9:30.
Oh, that was smart, Hellman.
Why?
You better put a guard on her front door and get up to 720 Taylor Street, the apartment of Christopher Downs.
Who's he?
A late entry. Now climb out of that coma and get going. I'll meet you up there in 10 minutes.
720 Taylor Street?
Yeah, it's up on the hill.
That's good, Novak. I can roll you all the way down.
When Jocko and I got up to Downs' apartment, there was nobody home. I said a fast prayer for Connie, and I began going through Downs' stuff for a .38 caliber revolver. Jocko was looking, too, over in the liquor cabinet. That's as far as we got.
Scavenger hunt, Mr. Novak?
Hello, Chris. You haven't seen the .38 around?
Just one. It's in my pocket.
The same one that killed Max Coleman?
You're going to run out of breath, Novak. Slow down.
I'm in second already, mister. I can't stop.
Then you won't mind a short ride. Out the door and down the back stairs.
Should we bring the lap robe?
There's nothing to worry about. It's a short trip. You won't even have to wire the folks.
We went down the back way and into the garage next door. We started for a big car in the corner.
All right. Get in. Out the airport road, Joe.
Sure.
Now relax, Novak. From here, you look like a duck in the pond. All right, Joe.
Watch out, Joe. Joe! Watch out, there's another car coming in.
You're right, Chris. It was a short ride.
You all right, Novak?
Stop acting like the mother hen, Hellman. Take this guy's gun.
All right, mister, get out. Who is he?
Christopher Downs. He killed Max Coleman last night.
Does he convince you, mister?
Not entirely.
Well, that .38 will. The Oakland police have 2 slugs that fit that gun. You need more?
No. I'm afraid you've got all the trumps, Novak.
All right, let's go, you.
Let's see you earn it, copper.
Stop him, Novak!
He ain't going far. Well, Hellman, now you can arrest him for jaywalking.
Yeah.
It's too bad. He could have told you a lot about that stiff in my closet. Well, go pick him up, Hellman, and don't forget that jack of clubs in his pocket. Well, it worked out all right. I left Hellman, dropped by headquarters to leave a note, and I went home to my apartment. Connie was there. The whiskey was out again. Oh, she looked real good sitting there in a white crepe dress. It was one of those tight-fitting babies that make a bathing suit look like a toga. I told her all about Chris and Max Coleman, and we forgot about everything but the Olympics. When she put her arms around you, it was a real squeeze. It felt like an old tube of shaving cream. I was pouring a drink when the doorbell rang. Hello, Hellman.
You ready, Novak?
Sure. Well, don't stand there gaping. Arrest her for murder.
Wait a minute. Slow down, Patsy.
Sorry, chum. It's you or me.
Now, be a nice boy.
I am. That's why you go to Hellman.
Come on, lady.
You think of an answer for that guy that you left in my closet?
I didn't leave any guy in your closet.
You'll have to say it louder, baby. They found the store you bought the cord.
That cord came out of your kitchen.
You're a big mouth, Connie.
Yeah. You can put that in boldface. How did you know?
You're the only one that could have taken that jack of clubs here in the apartment. That and one other thing.
Yeah?
That knot in the cord was a funny knot.
You got an elastic garter there. It's too big, so you tied a knot in it. The same funny knot that choked Kirk Toomey.
You're a funny guy, Novak.
Yeah?
You're nice. But you're hard to handle. I should have killed you and married you. Ready, Hellman?
Jack of Clubs was a phony right from the start. Somebody told Kirk Toomey to deal with me. When he came to my apartment, Connie was waiting. She got jumpy and killed him. I got there too soon, so she had to stall me off. When she got home, she found out that the Jack of Clubs was a phony. She left it in plain sight, and Chris gobbled up the bait. When he discovered there was no microfilm, he went gunning for Max Coleman. Max was an innocent thief lying low, waiting to buy it from me. So, all three of them were after a phony card. I began to suspect it was phony because everybody hung around. If it was the McCoy, Connie would have cleared out. Same for Chris. The microfilm? Well, it was in Hellman's desk, but he didn't know it. Jocko finally tumbled. The report said that Kirk Toomey had false teeth, and when Hellman picked up his stuff on the ship, it was a tube of toothpaste. You don't clean false teeth with toothpaste. Word must have gotten around that the microfilm was inside that Jack of Clubs, so Kirk crossed them up and put it in the tube of toothpaste. Well, that's all except they canceled my $1,000 deposit. Hellman said it was lucky I noticed her garter. Lucky? Well, she had to straighten her seams, didn't she?
The American Broadcasting Company has just brought you the second of a new series, Pat Novak for Hire, starring Jack Webb. Jocko Madigan is played by Tudor Owen. Inspector Hellman is played by Raymond Burr. Music was composed and conducted by Radio and Television Life Award winner Basil Adlam. In our cast were Betty Lou Gerson, Victor Perrin, Ted DeCorsia, and Herb Butterfield. Today we're happy to welcome a new member of the ABC family, as station KARM in Fresno, California, joins our network. And now this is George Fenneman reminding you to be with us again next week, when over most of these same ABC stations, we'll bring you Pat Novak for Hire. This program came to you from Hollywood. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.